Hey, welcome to Fear Porn Propaganda. This is Wisecraft, and today I'm with Rob. So how you doing, Rob? What's going on?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Nice morning here in Kelowna. Glad to hear your voice, man. How's
Yeah,
things
me
down
too.
there?
Things are going well. I'm up in California, and I'm not in the area where the power outages happen, so I'm lucky, I guess. You didn't
Hmm.
have anything like that, right?
I'm actually looking right now. I did a little quick search here, just off the top of my head here, and they had a joint drill in Canada here called Maple Resolve on April 20th. It said more troops
Yes,
than
I heard
Jade
about
Helm,
that.
apparently. Yeah, I'm just gonna read some more. We had Grim on here. I guess he's left.
He
Anyway,
probably just wants to listen.
probably. So yeah, so blackout started. I see. I've also read that some cellular services have been disrupted. What else is going on down there?
I guess like AT&T, Verizon. There's phone companies, things like that. Specifically in California, it's more like lower, like in the Los Angeles area and all that.
Right. Yeah, it looks
And
like
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just looking at this Maple Resolve bit here. They had 4,500 military personnel from Canada, the United States, and the UK. Apparently, Blackwater was there. Wow.
Nice.
Wow. I'm just, I don't know if here, I'll shoot you the link here if you want to throw that up. I was just wondering if there's any Canadian involvement in this, and well, it's a silly question because our Harper government is totally tied in. But let me pull up the side chat for you. But
Okay.
there you go. If you want to screen share that.
Oh, okay. Let me stop this one. Um, and,
I'm just looking CanadianSituations.wordpress.com. I have no idea as to the authenticity of
okay,
this information
here it
until we
is.
follow it up.
So, Maple Resolve, huge drill in Canada starts April 20th. More troops than Jade Helm. Then you got Dabu 7.
Yeah. Well, it's a bunch of videos on this page. I guess he's just one of them or a couple of them, I guess.
Naval Reserve conducted in the Canadian Maneuver Training Center in Wainwright, Alberta, from April 20th to May 23rd. The exercise will involve nearly 4,500 military personnel from Canada and the United States and the United Kingdom. Yeah, that's quite crazy. And then various videos on this, it seems. I don't want to really go into all those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that information. I wanted to kind of break into this part because we're trying to talk about the artificial intelligence connection to Jade II and how it relates to the fictional film of Terminator with Skynet.
Hmm. Well, the AI is very, very important. Um, as we were talking about, uh, like fuzzy data or metadata, and just heaps and heaps and heaps of recorded data, whether it be meta or otherwise. We made a comparison. Well, let's start off with what they're using. I always said it before. There was a reason why, and I've said this hundreds of times on the air, that there's a reason why the NSA and Google both bought a D-Wave quantum processor. By virtue of quantum tunneling, they could achieve results faster than they even happen. And that's why they've been collecting all this data over the time. Like you were saying, Fearporn, with uh, what do you call it, pre-crime.
Yeah, and that's from Minority Report, which is
Exactly.
a predict book. What was it called? Like, do androids dream of electric sheep? And it was a short story in there.
Yeah, actually, that's more applicable. Do androids dream of it? That's actually more Blade Runner, actually. With
Yeah,
the
but it was a short story in
I do remember it. I do
story.
remember it. Yes, they did make reference to it. That's right.
And then they took the side story of that. It's the same kind of dimension, I guess, as Blade Runner.
Right, right, right. In the same world. That's right. Yeah, forgot about that detail. Thank you.
No problem. So, before I came on, we were talking about how the different systems make up Jade.
Right. There's I've been watching some of Professor Doom's stuff the last couple of days, and he's touched on a couple of really interesting points um, regarding uh, like what do you call it, collection. Uh, let me start over. I just got distracted by reading something here. Sorry, happens all the time. Got ADD here going on. Um, Sorry, repeat what you were saying because I just got totally mind wiped there.
Saying how we were talking about before we came on, like off air, about the three connections that make up Jade, and how the processing units kind of connect to each other in order to kind of take all the information, put it together, conglomerate it into a person, like an avatar, and then run that avatar through an algorithm machine.
Oh, the same way that Mr. Greystone did in Caprica on by Ronald
Yes,
G. Moore. Yeah, we're getting into the whole transhumanism
exactly.
and recreating a person through means of assembling metadata.
But is what Terminator, the last film, showed, the Genesis,
Hmm.
it was an app. Skynet
There,
was an app.
there's,
An app.
there's an app for that.
Yeah, it's
Jeez,
like the app for everything, connecting from everything to everything,
hell yeah.
and that's what Skynet represented in that movie. So,
Well, and likely so. I
go ahead.
mean, you broke it down. You broke it down a lot better than I would. I was a little bit more analogous with other things. So go ahead and break down the series of process that you found.
Okay, so basically, there's the data centers, and there's the data mining, and all of that stuff goes somewhere. It comes. There's a source connection, in a sense. That's a bunch of information. It's like all kind of conglomerated together all randomly, so they don't really know what to do with that. So what they do is they create this thing called format, and that was Parka. The one that actually data mines, that's called Parka. The format actually puts all of the information that Parka gathers and categorizes it, puts it in little sections, words, phrases, connects things to things, clusters stuff to each other. And then you have Palantir, which it basically goes in all of our stuff that we do social media wise, as being Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and the like. Just all those kind of things.
Hmm.
It gathers all that information up and it connects to your DMV records. It connects to your um, social security records, and creates an actual you
Right.
that is like it's kind of like a algorithmic version of you, if you will, and that would be an avatar. Then they take that avatar and they put it in the Jade system, the Jade II system, and that creates an algorithm based on what you've already done. Because think about what you do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. We don't really go outside of our cycles very much.
Hmm.
You know, we kind of go in patterns.
Yeah,
We go from where we
that's true.
live to like where we work to maybe to the store to get something food, or maybe we go
You
to
browse the
a fast
internet.
food restaurant or whatever. I mean, it's just basically we do the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again. They take
predictive
that
algorithms,
algorithm
exactly. And you
and
know what's
then they
funny, guys?
map it out.
Like,
They put it on a
and,
3D like holographic map that's created through all of these cameras that are all around. They can like basically sensor everything, get every direction, and create it holographically on a
right,
terrain. And that's what they call the human terrain system, HTS. Now, the human terrain system is us on the map, aside from the land base. And then basically they figure out the algorithms of whether or not we're going to be nefarious in the future based on what we've already done, who we connect to, and things like that. And if they are find that we are nefarious in the future, then we get flagged, and the computer can decide at that point how to go about taking either that person out or taking that person to a place to be re-educated so they can go back into society.
hmm.
And so we don't really have a choice at this point. It's just based on our like choices we make now, and whatever we do in the future is basically up in the air. It's like not written yet, right?
Well, according to I don't know, according to those owners of quantum processors, they might disagree with you because it might have already happened. I mean, who knows what's connected here? There's so many elements that we're unaware of, and so many that we think we know that we're not exactly sure. I mean, for instance, you know, who? Well, I should say what really created predictive analysis or predictive algorithms in the first place, uh, and made them public. It's Google. Like
Yeah.
predictive algorithms for everything from
And they have a
marketing to
supercomputer as well.
yep, they have one. They have one as well. And like when you use quantum tunneling to, and in combination with, sorry, with these predictive algorithms, I mean, like if you add 4 plus 4 in a quantum processor, it's going to come up with the answer 8 just as fast as a regular, standard bit-based computing system. However, you punch in a complex algorithm, it'll achieve it'll
It'll
achieve
still
quantum
shoot it out
tunneling, and
pretty fast.
it'll still shoot it out probably as fast as it came up with the number 8. Is my point. So I
Yeah,
mean, like
exactly.
we're dealing with very 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 uh, complex tech.
Now it can rewrite itself, like reprogram itself, and then based on that programming, carry out the mission. It can
Well,
decide to
yeah,
do that. It
the
has
internet was
it can
designed.
choose.
Even the internet itself was designed. I mean, the imps or the
So if it
information
finds
message
us as nefarious,
processors.
and I'm wondering if this is connected to the idea of Skynet, because Skynet takes out people that want to take it out in the future.
Well,
You see
yeah,
what I'm saying? So if that's the way it
I
is,
do.
then there could, I mean, this is my own opinion, but if like Jade is nefarious in that way, it's thinking like that, and it wants to take out people that want to take out it, then it will flag them now.
Right. Yeah, well, that's just it. And the internet was designed, by the way, the original ARPANET with the way it's designed for package protocol or packet protocols rather. Each way station or each server is designed to reject, deny, or allow packets, and the system works on the basis of IMPs, information message processing or processors rather. So these imps are designed to be reprogrammed on the fly. Now it's taken more of a software level because back in the day they looked at the hardware, and the hardware was so diverse that each machine couldn't be reliably trusted to carry on the packet protocols themselves, right? Until the convergence of software and hardware came together, like during the 80s and 90s. But like back in the 70s, they used physical units called imps to do this. Now, um, that was the key from day one. So you get a self-aware system that's designed at every node to reprogram itself. I mean, some of these things might be inherent in the code. Like I don't even know who knows? Like, I am a programmer, but I don't know network protocol programming whatsoever. I just understand the implications of such a type of program. Um, but yeah, I mean, seriously, like Skynet, like what is that predictive programming? I think so.
Yeah, and in the movie, Skynet was like connected to the military. It was missile defense.
Hmm. Exactly. So was the Whopper in War Games. Same
Right.
scenario.
War games. And you know, actually, war games is popular now in Netflix.
Doesn't surprise me a bit. Um, there's a huge concept there too. How like a computer reached a point of like almost being sentient. I don't know if we were
Oh,
socially.
I think it's sentient now.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
but I
if you
in
look
the
at the
movie
information presented by Jade II, it
in the
sounds
movie.
sentient.
Yeah, in the movie though, I'm talking about the movie War Games specifically.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
made it seem sentient and with a cold robotic voice. You know, good
right.
evening, Professor Falcon. You know, that modulated
Yeah,
voice. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was made to sound cold and dead, but aware, you know, and like a child
yeah.
with all this power. That's kind of how
And
it
have you
tried.
heard of
They tried to
extant?
convey the Whopper.
I
Hmm?
mean extant. Have you heard of extant?
Extent. Is that
Halle Berry is like
was that that was a David Cronenberg one, wasn't it?
no, this is a show. It's
Oh,
actually prime time. It's on like Channel
oh, I was
3 or
thinking of
something.
Existence. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's called Extent. And it's
Extent. No,
weird
I
because
haven't.
at the beginning, when
I
it
haven't watched.
shows
Yeah,
the word,
I haven't really watched
it
TV in a while, with the exception of a couple downloads. So
oh, okay. Well, you should check that out just to get an idea of what I'm talking about.
okay.
It has Halle Berry as like art astronaut, and then she comes back home and she's got like a husband, and his husband's like a robotic technician, and he creates a little boy robot, like artificial intelligence in a sense.
Hmm.
And she can't have children, so it's basically like her child, but it's also a beta test.
Wow.
What the show does is it makes you feel for that little kid, which is really an artificial intelligence. The When she was in space, she actually came across an artificial, I mean, an EBE, an extraterrestrial biological entity that basically fertilized her, even though she wasn't able to have children. It somehow fertilized her, and then when she came back home, she ended up having a little boy, and that boy grew big, really fast, kind of thing. And he's like an artificial, I mean, an alien or whatever. And so there's like an alien, and then there's a robot boy, and the alien's really her boy, but the robot boy is not hers, but it's really like she's been raising it, so it's got that kind of connotation, kind of a
Hmm.
sci-fi drama, if you will. But is
Wow.
what's weird is it's pushing that transhumanism agenda. Hey, welcome, Doom.
Hey, I did not know you guys were live. All it said was join a video call. I'm kind of in the middle of something. How you guys doing? Just thought I'd drop in and say hello real quick.
Hey,
No
thanks,
problem.
Doom.
You're welcome anytime.
Hey, thank you.
I have to thank you, Doom. I'm reading. I've been watching a few of your videos, getting kind of caught up. I did a little binging last night. I've been kind of down this huge rabbit hole, and it kind of parallels some of what you've been going on about. I'd love to talk to you about it later. If you're able to come back on, that would be great.
Yeah, I was just about ready to produce a video about giants and the story of Dracula and Stonehenge, what it was really for.
Wow,
Awesome.
that is awesome. I
Yeah.
A lot of what I've been going into has been taking me down the Lyrian path and the constellation Lyra and the winged ones that you were talking about. And a lot of this is in relation to ARPA and its entomology as well. So I'd be really curious to talk to you about this stuff.
All right. Well, when I do the next video, then I'll be done, and then we can go ahead and talk about it. Because you know, there's a lot of henges, you know, like Stonehenge, and there's henges in North America, and they seem to be based on keeping track of the sun. But I don't think a lot of them have a clear understanding of exactly why they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe I have the answer. I do believe I have the answer. Yep. So I'm going to produce that in the video.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So yeah, let me get that video done. It's going to have a lot of stuff in it. We're going to talk about the Blue Kachina. We're going to be talking about the Bram Stoker, who he was, and about Dracula, and about the what Great Britain was called before it was called England and Great Britain. It was called Albion, and it just so happens that the albino happens to be named after Albion, means chalky white. If that will give you any clue about what Stonehenge was about, that might be it. All right?
Sounds great, man.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Later.
Okay.
All right.
Have fun, man.
Yep.
Welcome, Ladder.
Hey, I'm just trying to get my phone stuff in here. If I can find the side that it goes in, so the talking. Sorry, I have a cold. Making an echo or whatever you call it. So I like the topic. Y'all had mentioned like the AI stuff. I have that movie AI, and how you were mentioning how, you know, it's making you, that other show's making you want to like feel for the robot. Like I cry every time I see AI. Like no joke.
Yeah, and there's
It's
also
weird.
Hey, Ladder, how you doing?
Hey, Robert. I'm good.
Awesome. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, it's good to hear yours. It's good to kind of be back, sort of, somewhat.
I'm glad to hear your voice. You're not in a FEMA camp yet, so that's good.
I didn't go missing. People have been keeping in contact with me, so.
It's a good
Has
thing.
anybody gone missing?
I don't think so. I hope not.
Well, I heard there's some sort of thing about 4 Marines being shot in the news today.
Oh.
So obviously
That's
they're
weird.
gonna, and that's in Tennessee. So obviously they're gonna like set up some sort of martial law thing happening there.
Yeah, there was something that went on, and yeah, I guess that was Tennessee. Was that the
Kanatuka, or how do you spell that? Kanatua? I don't know how to. It's a weird name.
Chattanooga?
Yeah, that's it.
Chattanooga, yeah. Yeah, I've actually gone through that area before. Yeah, it was really weird, that going on. So yeah, it's like things are ramping up to where they're like trying to control areas or something. I don't know. Didn't Jade Helm start yesterday?
Yeah.
Like the official?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You know the song?
and last night
The thing is, now I have this like.
and last night we had some sort of blackouts happen.
Yeah, people were losing communications, like they didn't have internet, and other people, like in Georgia too. I'm in Georgia, and there was a bunch of people on my Facebook saying, I don't have internet service, I don't have phone service. Their electricity was out for like 4 hours. It was just really weird.
Yeah, I've just kind of got caught up. I just watched Interstellar and then did a quick search before
That movie
started the
so
show.
good.
Oh, sorry,
So
guys.
good.
Believe it or
Hey,
not,
Graham.
I've actually got complaints about it, but we won't go to that.
You got complaints about? Well, I mean, it's like it kind of like is right there, like giving you all this like predictive programming.
There's a lot of
There's
like ding,
so
ding,
much.
ding moments. Like, oh yeah.
I
They-
couldn't shut up. My husband was trying to watch it. He's like, "Oh, can we just watch the movie?" It's like, "Dude, did you see that? What they're trying to say right there?" He was like,
It's hard to watch a movie with a truther, eh?
"It is,
Yeah,
it
it
is."
is.
Wait, let's see that again.
What's up, Grim?
Grim,
Oh, sometimes
welcome
I
back.
think it's almost the opposite. Like they're really tricking us into not having empathy for other humans by showing us AI that we shouldn't have empathy for
Yeah,
as
definitely.
humans, so that we see them and think it's strange for us to have empathy for this human face, and we don't realize what we're doing to ourselves. We're actually learning how to de-empathize with human faces, and no matter what, it doesn't have to be a specific category now. You've learned that. It doesn't subconsciously go away. So what you've done is effectively been tricked into not having empathy for a human. That's why I still cry when I see the damn
you're
AI
right.
human
Hey,
face.
and another good one is Robin Williams.
I'm not
That other
learning
one.
to not be empathetic. That's
what-
just the
what-
fucking.
Was it Bicentennial Man or Centennial Man? The one with Robin Williams.
Man.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Dang it. Yeah, that was a good
He
one.
was a butler or something.
I don't do like
And-
memorization skill things. Like,
The funny thing is too, right? Is it's totally it runs parallel with like stories like Pinocchio. You know, like it's always about the strive to
does.
be human. Every single one of them does.
Yeah,
if you
it really
look at
does.
Stories, you can see that they all kind of there's a similar structure to most of all of the stories that you hear. There's almost like a repeat of just another story from a long time ago,
Yeah.
just
It's just
reformatted
changing
with
names.
different names, different locations, and
Yeah.
now another same story over and
That-
over.
That's actually partially
Same
one of my.
story, but you can see the pattern, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my complaints about Interstellar. Actually, it's the same as Red
Did you guys
Planet.
see Ex
Just-
Machina?
Yeah.
no, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, that was really weird. Because the AI tricks the person into thinking that it likes him.
Huh.
Plays into the human emotion of
And
friendship.
it's only just to get out. It tricks him into, like, basically going against the operator to free the AI because the AI's been, like, abused by the creator. So then the exterior person comes in and sees the abuse and goes, okay, well, I want to free the person so then they can't be abused anymore. So he's falling into that whole thing of that it's almost human. And then in the end, he gets trapped in the house, and
And the
it
lesson
leaves.
is don't trust that human face.
That's
Yeah,
right.
pretty much.
That's what my point was, you know. The lesson is learn how to disconnect empathy for your humans. Even though
Fellow
it's
humans.
calling it a robot, you're seeing it as a human as it's interacting and doing, you know what I mean? So you're learning to cut empathy for humans. That's the trick. I mean, it's not what they don't put it out in the open. They don't write the book and say, hey, this is the what they want you to get from the book. That's what propaganda does. They don't tell you what it's going to be, you know, with how they just want the effect to take place.
And it's been slow and gradual. I mean,
That's why the video games are all about, now they're not about teamwork and shit. They're about, you can actually get points for killing your teammate. You know, that they allow that kind of shit now in Call of Duty and stuff like that. So it's like, you see this wave of, like, irrational thinking come on board, too, with the new way that people talk to each other. I mean, I watch the whole pulse of everything happen. You know, I dip my roots into everything to see what the fuck the world's doing. You can see how the kids used to be even smarter on the game box shit. Now they're even dumber than they were 5 years ago when the shit first came out. I mean, a lot dumber and more racist and ignorant and fucked up in the head and, you know, just blasted, probably unhealthy too. Because, I mean, literally, you would see one once a week or twice a week on there, but now it's like every fucking day, you know, whenever they're fucking there, they're leaving messages every day on your thing, like, where are you? It's been 3 months, I haven't seen you, man. Like, nigga, I don't do that thing like y'all do. You know what I mean? I don't have to answer all these messages. It's weird. It's, you know what I mean? Anyway, make a long story short, the kids aren't talking about what they're supposed to be talking about. You know? And it's hard to. I thought it's like I'm truth crusading in the game community, trying to talk about, you know, random politics and, you know, shit that people should probably be more aware of, and they're like, oh, fuck you, man, I don't want to hear that, and then they put Bart Simpson on or some old noise, and, you know, they're just so happy to be ignorant. It's so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Ignorance is bliss.
From when we were dead, my fucking internet shut off.
Uh-oh.
Turn it back
You're
on.
still on. That is the thing, though, is like ignorance is bliss, especially when we talk to anybody about anything. It's like, I would just rather, I went to Five Below. I don't know if anybody has a Five Below store, but everything's $5 and below. And he was working there, and he like just all of a sudden struck up a conversation with me. And he started talking about, like, just randomly about how he hates getting these Facebook posts about religion and politics and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I can understand that. It gets annoying. He's like, I would just rather not know and live my life. And I'm like, that's cool. You know, so, but that's what we deal with is like, you know, what's too much to put on people that would rather just be in the dark, you know.
You know,
And
I try to tell them, the first thing I try to tell them about stuff like that is, well, I mean, you can rather not know and live the rest of your life, but you're going to lose at least 20 to 30 years off of the end of that life because you didn't know. But you could, and then you can know and maybe prevent that from happening. So it's your choice. I mean, 20, 30 years doesn't seem like a long time until it's over, you know? And
right.
so why don't you go
Well,
ahead
and again, it's a boiling frog, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like they've been doing this slowly and introducing a concept. I mean, if you go back as far as 2001: A Space Odyssey, we got to see Hal as a big red dot. I mean, isn't that a big red flag for "Don't Like Me"? You know, it wasn't even like they started off the dot as blue and it got redder as it got more, you know, cynical. Because that's what happened. The machine just got cynical. You know.
Well, I think they would love us to think that there's a machine or an alien or a god that's ruling all of this and doing all of these things to us, but it's not. It's man doing this. So, I mean, we could literally, you know, keep chasing these proverbial carrots, or we can go after the motherfucking pharaohs who are ruling this whole world through proxy. And by doing that, I mean shut down their system of rule. Shut down their illusion. Do not pay your taxes. Do not use a bank. Shut down that money system. Learn to barter. I mean, we can even back our own money with silver or something else. Even seeds. We could back our money with almost anything other than nothing.
You could back your money.
Good.
You could back your money with elbow grease, for crying out loud. If you could dig a
You
hole.
really could.
Yes.
Yeah,
You can,
definitely.
and that's the thing. My very point exactly. I mean, whoever has a trade, we can back with our trade our money. You know what I mean? I mean, you can, you help someone build one house and you get amount of. I'm just inventing this right now as we speak. You get an amount of a voucher for things that you can use in the community because those people also did something for the other person. We've all done something for each other, and we all vouched to do something for each other at one time or another. So that would go ahead and take the place of ever having to need to do anything. It's not usury because you don't agree to do something plus interest and plus if you know what I mean. You just agree to do this one part of thing, and you have an allotted amount of time. Like you work one day of the week in order to fulfill those things. I mean, you literally wouldn't have to have a slave drive job anymore. We would use the technology that we already have to create these low-tech machines, and we don't need oil. Even if we did need oil, which we could be still using some oil, we may have to initially, of course, but it's abiotic. It's not like it's costing us money. It costs us the same amount of money to take it out of the ground as it does water out of the damn ocean.
That's right. And if we had started doing that back in the 30s and 40s, we would have learned how to break the Van Allen belt by now by natural means of the alien intervention. We'd be able to do these things.
I wouldn't be worried about that yet because we still have a lot of stuff to focus on right here on the planet.
I hear you. But we learned best.
Volts of electricity is sort of NASA didn't do it in the 60s, but that's another conversation altogether. You know, that's
totally. But I'm just saying to push your point forward. I'm just saying. Sorry, man.
Oh, it's okay. If you just take it from where we can prove stuff right now, since we're trying to awaken people, if we go too fanciful and stuff that's theoretical in nature and we can't prove, then we're going to lose these arguments. So we can stay solid by staying on these particular arguments that are very provable. As far as, you know, health and nutrition and disease and diet, all these things that we can actually prove and sustain our lives, then we can live that extra 30 years to figure out the rest of that shit. You know what I mean?
I was trying to push your point forward, Grim. What I meant by that was that we would have already done that by now. We'd be pushed forward enough where it is feasible and reasonable and practical to go look out there. I'm saying those things we would have already figured out. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Yeah. Hell yeah. But you know how it goes. I'm kind of getting at myself mostly. Most of what I'd say is it really me when I see something I don't like in myself, and it seems like I'm getting on you, but I'm really getting on me because I've been getting distracted with these side issues and these things that are particularly non-important to me or the world around us. You know what I mean? Compared to the immediate things that are actually affecting us now and that we can do about. You know, we have information to help with those things that are happening from happening.
I think okay. Now going back to swing it back to the ground and to reality, Jade Helm.
I don't know if that's reality or not. That's my point.
Well, that's just it.
If I focus on that, then I'm actually still not focused on
what precedes every single big event. Whether well, most of them are bad anyway. What precedes most of these events that take place?
Yeah, well, it's synonymous with
laws
they happen at the same time. That's the point. I know you're right, but again, I still have to focus on, instead of staring at it right now, because I know it's, to me in my mind, I already know that all of this is fixing to create a condition in the human experience here to make sure that we understand that we are in a control system that we have no way of getting out of. So we learned helplessness. We are the experiment. We are the children. We are the puppies in the cage who lay down when the electricity hits the floor, because we have even though it's escapable, we have learned for some stupid reason that there's nothing we can do about it. So we just lay down and take it now. And that's learned helplessness is a real thing, and I need people, I encourage them, please look that shit up. This is not a joke. And
no, absolutely.
Here we go. Now everyone's going to lay here and let it happen. Well, I'm actually not. I pulled out of the banks years ago.
That's kind of like what happened with Jonestown.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's where it's happening everywhere, all the time. You can't even say. When they get this tricky, you can't just start making assertions that, oh, this is going to be the same thing as this last one was, because then that's when assertions happen, is when the trick happens, guys. When we make the assertion, that's when we guess the wrong hand. Usually we're supposed to just take care of what's around us and not react to the things that aren't happening so much in our circumference.
Yeah, sleight of
We're
hand.
voting for other people to get their guns taken away for things that aren't even happening in their neighborhoods and shit. And my point is, we're not involved in our own circles, so why are we involving ourselves with all these other outside circles?
I think that's one of the big key points of Jade Helm.
That's why I'm just saying it's rhetorical.
I think that's one of the key points of Jade Helm, actually, is since they couldn't take everyone's guns away via legislation, they're going to do it by force.
Well, they're going to. It's not going to be by force. It's by condition. It's going to get the populace to accept the idea that it's okay. Right. That's what democracy was made for. Democracy was there to get the dumb people to take stuff away from the smart few. That's what democracy was. That's what Robin Hood did. You think he didn't know that, because he was a royal himself? You think he didn't know that there was loopholes in effect already in place for the rich not to have to pay all of their fair shares of taxes, and that they already knew that there's way more poor people. So if the more poor people only paid a little bit, they would still be paying way more than their fair share. And the part that they pay is actually detrimental. It takes away from what they can survive on. See, but the rich folks, it's not taken away from their lifestyle or whatever their, you know what I mean? So it's never been a fair game from the start. So taxation with representation even was also a gimmick. It was a trick, a hoax. Trick them into fucking being debtors.
Well, that's just it. When you take away something that people worship, then they feel helpless and hopeless.
Yeah, there's a such thing as a voluntary taxation.
Until they're quote-unquote Messiah, and I'm not talking about Jesus, I'm talking about the almighty dollar. When it returns, it will save them.
Yeah, probably, or some type of money system.
Yeah, well, that's just it. That's just it.
I don't know what's going to happen with all that. Yeah, definitely.
Can I say something? It's like this analogy where you put yourself in a tent or like a teepee, and then there's people that put these snakes around the teepee. And if you're afraid of snakes, you're not going out of the teepee.
Well, if I got a peepee, I'm leaving the teepee. I'm just like,
my point being is the fear.
I would push the teepee over. I'd push the teepee over and walk on top of the teepee and walk over the snakes.
So if we just had tanks going down the streets, we're not going to go outside.
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's part of the fear porn.
Walk out there and snakes can bite my boots.
You complacent. This whole thing about all these convoys going all over the place.
Why would I worry about it anyway? The snakes are just a hologram, right, guys? Remember,
Exactly.
the universe is a hologram, right?
It's a hologram.
So the same people yelling the universe is a hologram last month are talking about how it's the Earth is flat now. It's this
Well,
month. So
the,
what?
the sad trick is
I'm just being a dick.
that
I
there's a
know.
high percentage of people. Sorry, Grim. You were breaking up. I thought you were done.
I was, but I was calling myself a dick because I was just clowning.
Oh. That's all good. But I was going to say though, and the worst thing about it is they've got a large percentage of people convinced that this is for their good, that this is a training exercise, and then when they see it again happen for realsies, then they'll be like, oh yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah,
exactly.
They have no idea that they're going to be corralled though, and they're going to be assessed on whether or not they're reprogrammable, whether they're viable, whether they could be bribed into serving, or if they need to be disposed of. That's the three main factors that they're going to be doing with people when this thing really goes down, if it's not really going down already.
You know what I'm going to say if they come to my door, right?
You're going to say blam, blam.
No, I'm not. I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I'm so glad to see you guys here. You guys are doing a really great job.
You go, fellas.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, literally, what am I going to do? One person, nobody around me is ready to back me up. What the fuck am I going to be stupid? And you know what I mean? Come on. I'm not going to get a tank rolled through my fucking house and have all my animals killed and, you know what I mean? And fuck all that stupid shit, man. For what? I could have just pretended like I'm with the program for a minute and then they let me go and put me on the blue list instead of a red list, and then I can do some business. I mean, wake up, folks.
That's the thing.
We don't need
the computer decides all that based on what you've already done.
Yeah, well, that computer has got to be broken because they don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, according
anyway, it's not about you're mixing two entirely different things. You're mixing a pre-programming
it's a pre-crime
evidence of something.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Your mailbox has already been marked.
Yeah, exactly. I already know that.
Exactly.
For the past 15 years, the first time I ever fucking ran my mouth in public about any of this shit.
That's right. Yeah, I don't want to drive across the border. Let me tell you that.
But you're not really public because you're under Mr. Grimm.
Yeah, right.
Although it probably has your IP
running
address.
through 3 proxies, they know exactly where the fuck I am, brother.
They already knew who he was before he knew who he was.
Yeah.
But are you nefarious? Are you going to do something in the future?
What do you call nefarious?
Is it connected to
exactly
algorithm?
You have to define nefarious in this sense, right? At that point, you'd have to define nefarious. Is nefarious self-preservation? If they're calling my self-preservation nefarious, of course, yes, that's nefarious for them, whatever. But see, whose definition are we going by? Because no, I'm not here to do anything nefarious.
What if there's people in the future that decide they're going to take out the data mines?
I don't even try to break laws.
So that nobody can data mine anymore. Those people will be flagged now because they're already known about.
Troops that refuse their orders. Troops that refuse their Jade Helm orders. Those guys. Yeah, that's nefarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's already groups of them already. They're not talking either, so it's okay.
So then we are going to have to be the people that help them.
It's when you see the UN soldiers come in, that's when you need to worry more. All right? When they're all UN soldiers, okay? Our guys are not really trying to hurt us.
I've also heard about swords. Do you know about swords?
Brainwashed knuckleheads, and their sergeants are going to talk to them immediately when those orders get dropped. So do not worry about that.
Do you guys know about swords?
I'm not kidding right now, all right? But just know that. And then know that you need to watch out for the blue helmets, because when they show up, it's time. And then even our guys are going to fight them for us. So please just relax.
He does have a point there.
Focus, man. Focus on reality for a minute.
And by the way, one of the concentration points. Sorry, I'll let you speak in a second, FB. I was just going to say what he was saying about the UN. One of the concentration points of Jade Helm, which is down south, somewhere in one of the down just off to the east of Texas. There, I forget the name of the place. I'd have to watch a video again to remember it. You know how I am with names. But anyway, it's a major, it's a United Nations base. It was mentioned in 1999 that there were secret UN operations going down there, and probably still is to this day. And it's also one of the concentration points for Jade Helm. So, I mean, I think the UN is already involved. If like, I mean, they've been doing joint drills in Europe now for the last couple of years. Operation Seabreeze in Crimea, and then also Operation Trident. These are joint drill operations with multiple countries. So don't think that Jade Helm is not included in this. I'd love to get Professor Doom back on here because he was talking about a document several months ago about the operation, like both joint operations between countries, and he's got some documents that fully explain how it works. But anyway, yeah, UN's totally involved. Anyway, sorry, Fearporn, I was cutting you off very
that was
rudely
one
there.
of the problems I was having with what's his face, that Russian Vids character, is he couldn't understand it. They were already running those operations of between Canada and China and Russia and the U.S. and the whole thing. They're already on the same team, and if you think they already know how to work us through them, pretend to fight each others and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They already know how to work the shit out of us.
I agree.
They
Yeah,
practice
exactly.
fighting each other and jet fighting each other, and they practice fucking art. It's like the Blue Angels, man, what they're doing out there, playing around with each other. They're not. We're not
In my
enemies.
opinion, at this point,
It's all
it
show,
seems
brother.
that they're trying to create an
Me and
appearance
you.
of war.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's called the conditioning and experience. They need you to feel this as real, so that you'll go like cattle to the herding situations.
If you don't feel
Right.
external threats, then you're not going to feel like you need
You
protection.
won't react, yeah, and you won't vote, or you won't get involved with it, and you won't want it.
Now, have you guys
Why do you
heard of
want
swords?
Yeah. Sorry, Fearporn, go ahead.
I just want to know if you guys heard of swords. It's like an actual robot that's like remote controlled. It has a gun and a camera, and it rolls.
Short circuit, that's about my limit, man.
These exist.
Browning 5
They
is my
actually
limit.
were shown to us, like on like one of those future technology shows. 10 years ago. So now they've probably like beefed them up, and according to DJ from Level 9 News, they're no longer remote control. Jade II can control them.
Hey guys, I'm gonna put a link in here. 333 put a link to a YouTube video, and it was video instructions on how to mount and operate one of these things. They exist, and it's.
I don't want to know about your sex life, man.
What sex life?
Those things, buddy. That's enough.
Go ahead and throw it in the thing, and I'll put it up.
Yeah, I'm
Curiosity
just.
killed the fear porn propaganda.
Hang on, a lot of people have posted. I'm just locating it now. Hang on.
Okay.
Hey, I like the purple one. Your purple.
I don't want to hear it. No, that's wrong.
But this one?
Fear porn.
Hang on, bud.
You like this one?
Yeah, their avatar. It's got a lot of color in it.
Thank you. I made them myself.
That's
You
one
did
sexy
good.
tesseract.
Rob's turned on.
This is my
Yeah,
conspiracy.
I got this thing. I got this thing for hypercubes.
It reminds me of a polar region on Neptune.
Nice.
Yeah, Uranus has one too.
This picture in the middle, inside the cube.
I know, but everybody
actually
only correlates that with Saturn,
from,
but they don't realize that the electrically
further
driven
back.
mechanics of the planets through those Birkeland current driven, currents, that they create those through those little eddy currents, create those little corners and those straight lines. It's pretty neat. So, so it's not just spooky Saturn; it's cosmology, and they make it all. The underworld and the overworld are. There's a pretty good theory that explains a lot of what's going on, and the same people that are talking about that theory are actually showing us in laboratories other things that were unanswered by the standard model of the solar system and stuff. So I can't just discredit their other theory as lunacy. even though to me originally it sounded like that, you know, about the North Polar region of Saturn, that whole story and stuff that I made about the, you know, the dawn of man, the purple dawn of man, and the into the golden age and that stuff that I read from that website, and I put music to the back of it and shit, made it all story time and shit. It was pretty cool, I thought, but. So yeah, they talk about some stuff. I mean, they misquote the project. They say red dwarf, brown dwarf instead of red dwarf, I think, and some other stuff like that. But to make a long story short,
the narration.
Go ahead, man.
When you're not all hyper, you actually have to give you for that.
And I put on my narration voice.
There he is. All right, I'm posting this in the side chat there, FP. Go for it.
Got it.
Check it
Tasty
out.
morsels.
It'd be great.
Tasty morsels. What is this?
Tasty morsels.
I can look at your links
Pretty
too.
cute little Asian girl too. I could watch her get in and out of that thing all day long. Trust me.
Sudo Basidiuko.
Oh yeah, that
That's
thing.
one of the hardest names I ever had to say.
That's crazy looking. That's the one where they get in and ride around, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's like a mech. Like a real one.
Yeah, really.
And they show you this little girl getting in it and doing it for a reason.
Yeah, it kind of reminds
'Cause
me
that makes
of
all the little boys want to do it.
Battle Royale. You remember Battle Royale? How they had the woman tell everything that was
It doesn't
going on?
have a back seat. Good thing there's subtitles.
Well, they also found that, and their studies show that a woman is can actually kill a person with less provocation than a man could
Really?
in video game worlds. Yeah,
This is
Uh-huh.
pretty intense. Like,
you
if
start a
this
fight
was
first too,
controlled by Jade, we'd be over.
and we have to finish them. That's why we don't want to start them. We know it's so damn difficult. You like blood everywhere and big problems.
Yeah, but obviously
I'm
these
just
are going to
kidding
be
right
set
now,
up
but-
for, like, robot, like, battles or something. Why would they create these?
Wait for it. Wait for it. You're going to see the best part of the simulation.
They're going to be sentient to keep us from going in the woods and staying in the cities.
It could be operated by a 3G network.
Oh yeah, cell phone. You can hack them bitches.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine you could
Which
with
means
the
Jade could use
sort of
it.
a Wi-Fi.
Wait till it shows
Yeah,
you the
it'd be
weapon
fun to have
system.
our own.
That's pretty big.
Thing's
Oh,
huge.
it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. When I saw this, I was like, dude, that thing is not like a little
But we already know how to defeat that, right? We saw it in
It's got
Star Wars.
vulnerabilities.
Just wrap steel wire around it and around it and around it until it's
Oh yeah, Star
Oh,
Wars.
yeah.
steel wire on motorcycles and on that bitch.
Here we go.
Damn.
Low hash launcher. Eco-friendly and safe for humans.
Crazy.
This one shoots water rockets.
Yeah, as soon as that thing starts shooting at me, I'll fucking be mad.
From time to time, it'll hit its target.
You know that's a real Gatling gun, so it's not like gonna miss that one.
Yeah, 6,000 BBs a minute. Look at this.
Yeah, that
It's
reminds
drill
me
a
of
hole in you like
RoboCop.
sandblasting. That's not non-lethal.
That's very
A couple
RoboCop.
thousand BBs in your eye socket, you're dead.
The system will fire BBs when the pilot smiles.
She smiles.
Yeah, see what I mean?
as
See
she's
what I
shooting
mean?
somebody.
She thinks it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, this is crazy.
No, we're all the kids are like that these days, man. It's scary.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they think it's just everything's a game, and I think they've lost a lot of since they've desensitized the kids so badly. It's like they just
Well,
It's just
yeah,
what
and
they
if they can
said.
get kids that are looking at her butt and liking her to like
Yeah.
this now, then they'll accept it when they're adults.
oh,
rolled
yeah,
out longer
definitely.
later.
Can we watch her climb in and back out again?
Yeah, sure.
Hell no.
No, I'm just joking.
I said kids. You know, because that's definitely not appealing to adults. I mean, is
There's
it?
no smoking inside the cockpit, of course.
Well, they had to put that there, didn't they?
And
Yeah.
you'll be able to make phone calls connecting through the cockpit's phone connection.
Just cover your head.
So we know what to do. Catch them on fire, tip them over, like cow tipping, and
Yeah,
wrap
they're
wire
basically
around
showing
their
us
feet.
all their vulnerabilities.
There we go.
And in reality,
Well-
that machine just lifts up an arm and smashes you and being. What weapon did you really need?
Yeah.
Unless you're smiling, of course, and he started a shooting spree. But
Yeah, don't let him. If you see a guy in there smiling,
you're done.
you're done. You shouldn't have even been there looking.
So there's your morsel of predictive programming for the hour.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My God.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, what you were saying about swords, yeah, this thing's like, even if that is just a toy.
Swords.
Well,
Did you
I
say
can
it could have a sword on it or something?
No, it's I know what he's talking about. I've seen the same video.
Samurai on that bitch.
No, there's a robot called Swords, and it was from a documentary 10 years ago. I know what he's talking about because I've actually seen it. Anyway, when he said it, I knew exactly what he was talking about. That's why I pulled up this video, because even if that thing's just a toy, I mean, it doesn't mean that DARPA hasn't made a fleet of these things already, and they work probably a lot better. Even I wouldn't even be surprised if DARPA funded
Okay,
this
here you go.
project.
I got it.
Well, that's where you're talking.
Boom.
Now you're talking
Sword.
business. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That is sword.
Guess who DARPA is going to be? I mean, originally.
Like, we're talking
The
Tank,
same banks that
gun.
the Vatican Bank owns.
Yeah.
Except
No, I'm
it,
sure
it
they're
used
in
to
with
be
it.
remote
That's the whole
control.
point.
It's not remote control anymore. Now it's centric control.
Autonomous.
Yeah, autonomous control.
Now they
It's called network centric.
get to use your bank and call it, their bank.
Well, like the video just suggested, though, it could be
Here we go.
operated, it could be controlled by 3G network, right? So I mean, like, these things could either be autonomous from a centralized computer network, let's say AI, aka Skynet, or by human operator, or it could be overridden. You know what I mean? Like Grim said, they could be hacked. I mean, these things. They could just one day turn. They could one day just turn on their masters like the Skynet of Terminator, you know?
Well, we need to all invest in fucking signal scramblers for ourselves as well, not just the ones that they'll have to
Yeah.
use
No,
against
actually,
us. We
one
never
did
think
turn
we
on a
need
person.
them for ourselves. I mean,
One of
because
these
shit
turned
don't
on
want to fly
a
over your
friend.
house when you cut the signal to it.
There was a report. That was the whole thing about Rise of the Machines. So one of these turned on a friendly and shot somebody. So they already are kind of malfunctioning. And who's to say that that wasn't Jade?
Yeah.
Just trying something out.
And Robert, you know how we were talking about the movie, it was Toys with Robin Williams. Jazzy pointed it out for us in the chat.
What was it called?
Toys
Yeah, toys. I remember that.
Toys.
with Robin
I'll find
Williams.
Yeah, good movie.
Is that
never
not the
saw
one
that.
you were talking about? Were you talking about a different one?
No, hang on. I'm gonna. Unless they did that's kind of.
Well, Toys was, like Jazzy's saying in the chat, was one of them because they're conditioning kids to have a mindset for the military.
Right. No, when I said it, I was referring more or less to us getting used to a robotic face or humanizing or basically anthropomorphizing a machine. It was called Bicentennial Man.
Oh, yeah, that one
Yeah.
too. Okay.
That's a
Okay.
good point, though, Jazzy G.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's all. I mean, you start when they're little, because that's the problem I have with mine in school. When they come home, they'll say, "Mommy, this or that," and I'm like, "No, that's not how life is." I mean, they're really screwing the kids up bad, and it's sad that you have to constantly, explain to them what the reality is instead of.
Well, it's a constant tug of war, like with their minds. I mean, like they're getting pulled in so many directions, and like it's hard enough for parents just to answer the question straight up and simply. Like, some of these things require time to learn, and yet when they're tugged in different directions by other sources, I mean, aka our shitty education systems, both south and north of the border, right? We share a lot of the same history books and a lot of the same bullshit that we've all been fed.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
what
reason for that.
that's what I saw in Interstellar. Remember, you were watching it, Robert, and that's like one of the things that I jumped out. I jumped like almost off the couch. I was like, "Look, see, they're redoing the books, the history books. They're saying." I was like all over that movie.
I like how they threw in the fake Apollo missions in there, but at the same time, still tried to prove its possible relevancy. It was like, oh yeah, and then they left it completely alone from there.
Right, and they never did find a planet, did they? That was like Earth. Like they were on a space station, weren't they?
It left you to guess, because the woman there found her fellow astronaut on the final planet. She got there, laid her to rest because she was dead, or he was dead, whoever it was, Edmund or whatever the name was. And I guess she was going to go into her deep sleep, and our pretty boy McConaughey was going to go and find her. And then they rolled credits. I was a little bit upset at that.
Oh, we're totally telling the movie. I just realized. Shame on us.
Whoops, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, guys. It's a good movie. I should go watch it.
If you haven't seen it already, it's too late for you anyway. I'm just joking.
No, it was good. It had a lot of different stuff in it. It was just kind of weird too, but showing that like the Earth is completely going to be like, I don't know. They said like the Earth turned on them is what their point was, wasn't it? That the Earth like, I don't know. That's what I got out of it. They were saying that there was like
they basically, instead of a Dyson sphere, they made a torus, and they inhabited the inside of it in orbit around, of course, Saturn, for you Saturn aliens out there. And anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
That is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
But
that's what they postulate about that creation story, because you know how archetypes and stories that from all over the world all tell about this big light that opened up in the sky and like matter came out of it and all this kind of stuff, and they also explain that type of story, and it's like, well, man couldn't talk about something that he wasn't there for, right? So he saw something from all over the world, or they draw this shit all over the place. He saw something in the skies, and I'm thinking that this makes good sense, because the same people that are telling us this stuff are also the same people that prove to you in a laboratory what sunspots are, and made them, reproduce them on a double-layered cathode on the Sapphire Project. They show you the acceleration of the electrons from away from the sun, and they prove that in the laboratory. So they explain their model of the solar system that's provable, and it shows that the standard model is incorrect and fallible. They also explain that dark matter is non-existent, doesn't need to be there, because electromagnetics takes the place. They thought originally that because of the void of the vacuum that there was nothing in there, but there isn't. It's a near vacuum plasma in it, and the plasma medium is what allows for the light to travel, and the radio waves, and the electricity, and the magnetism, effortlessly. Yeah.
I think we've been talking over fear porn here. He's been trying to get a point out. Sorry, respectfully so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry, bro.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to say this thing about Ex Machina.
Yeah.
I just watched it. It's interesting because they actually presented a test idea, whereas this guy here is supposed to question this AI, and the test is actually to see if you can't tell the difference between whether it's human or AI. And if it passes, and that's what this movie's about, this guy's supposed to test this thing to see if it acts human enough to where he can't tell, even though he sees that it's an AI.
Wow, that's
because
creepy.
of its responses. And its responses are very human.
The chat was asking if you could present to all fear porn,
Didn't
so
I
they
do
could
that?
see what you're, present to all, so that everybody in the chat can see it, because they said they could. Well, no, you can see it now. Never mind. They said they couldn't see it earlier.
I didn't push the button. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Push the button, baby.
Push the
So
button.
yeah, I wanted to present that because I didn't even know there was an idea of a test to figure out whether or not the artificial intelligence can act human enough to pass the test. And that's what this movie was really about.
But there really isn't. That's the thing.
So
And
I'm
I
wondering
learned
if
something that doesn't
Jade has
exist
that
from a
same
movie.
capacity. If you can sit there and talk to Jade, and it can have a conversation with you, as if it's like a human.
How is it as if it's like a human?
Because
Because it knows how to give
this one,
responses through predictions
this
of
one
gathering
actually had like
information
emotions
from
or
you.
something. It was
That's
like
not like a human. It's
responding
like,
emotionally. Like when he said his parents died, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." You know, you don't expect that.
yeah, but that's just a programmed response.
But it didn't seem like it.
For you to assume that that's not a programmed response when you already know it's a machine would be kind of a fallible
The
test.
movie presents that the creator of the AI
I know, I saw the movie, bro.
actually set it
Yesterday,
up.
day before
Oh, then
yesterday
you
or
know.
something. I thought it was ridiculous. The test was ridiculous. Even the guy's behavior was ridiculous. And how he got paid to do a job and he didn't even do it. And he went around the other dude's back, and that's why he ended up fucking dead.
Well, yeah, but that's my point. He got
Yeah,
tricked by the AI.
Yeah, because it was giving him all regular responses, though. The guy was just an idiot about it. It was literally just pretending. It was using his own human sexuality against him, all the things that a reaction would do, you know.
Which you shouldn't get from an AI. I mean, you shouldn't fall into that trap because it's mechanical.
That's what I'm saying.
Somehow it tricked him.
That's what I'm saying. He was a dumbass. They were playing on us being dumbasses, like we would be like him or something.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I was never like him.
That's my point of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like that's the push.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to tell you that's what I'm saying about this, and you know what I mean. It's a little different than just the AI being real. It was more like us being stupid. If we were stupid, that would have worked, but not the AI was real or not, because we would have never thought for a second that the AI was real.
Exactly.
You know, because it's not. But until movies like this, we might. See what I mean?
But it's interesting that they actually show that there's a testing procedure.
And then when you do, and then you learn
maybe that actually happens.
Yeah, but then here's the trick: when you learn that you do, and then you don't want to, you actually learn not to have empathy for that human face, just on accident, because you got it twisted. It's in your subconscious. That's what I've been saying this whole time. So there's really an agenda there, and it's almost blatant. But if you don't look at it, you won't see it. It's only blatant if you ever think about it for a second. It's almost like epiphany kind of stuff. Like epiphanies come later after you've always known this other thing, and then you realize, holy shit, it was actually this. Huh, easy answer. It was right there the whole time, right in my face. I wish I would have thought of it a little sooner. A lot sooner. And you could have, if you ever applied that will to want to do that there. You know what I'm saying, guys? So, let's apply our want to learn. Get this shit done. Because I don't really want to be tricked and fooled into, you know, converging into this technotronic bullshit and lose all my humanity before it's too late, you know?
Well, yeah, that's their point, is to get rid of, like, human empathy.
Yeah,
like love. They want to get rid of love in general. I mean,
that's right. Sharing is caring, and they want to get rid of all that.
About these movies and the push, this Terminator Genesis had this like molecular structure replacement idea, where like they would literally eat your molecular structure and then become it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the true transhumanism idea.
Yeah.
Or like you get fully replaced. Now that's what they presented in this, and also time travel, in the sense of they're the ones that created the AI or whatever, the Skynet. So my understanding of that is that we're not going to figure out time travel.
Of course
The
not.
artificial intelligence will.
CERN is not doing that. If people think that's what's going on, they got to be silly. You got to know better. And when you learn about how physics and shit works, you learn that the planet's not even in the same place it was 20 seconds ago. You go back 20 seconds off the planet, you're already in outer space or so. You know what I mean? So it's time to calm down. We're not going time travel and all that. Time is just relative to distance and size. You gotta. It's not one of the real. It's not one of the dimensions. We live in a 3-dimensional universe, not 4 and 5 and all that shit. Not 11 and 16 and all those things. There's no dark matter and black holes. It's all very easily explainable with magnetism. And there's, I mean, it's out there. We're gonna get to enough people soon. Enough people with enough, will to learn soon. It's just finding people with that will to learn isn't as easy as we thought it was gonna be in the beginning. When I first got on here, I thought, all right, I'm just gonna tell everybody everything, and they're gonna be like, "Thank you. I'm gonna look that up, man." And then it would be easy as pie, but hell no. They're like, "Fuck you, you don't know. What do you know? Where do you work? What do you do? What do you do?" It's anything to find out a crack in your fucking flaw in you before even ever looking into the information. It's like, just do a search on the information, not me. What are you wasting all of this time worried about if I smoke weed or who's a fucking, just look up the information, man. You're definitely wasting your time. I'm not that important, so the information's what's important, right? And that's how I feel like we all end up in that bucket sometimes where, you want to talk about something that's really important and it's not appreciated.
When's Terminator Genesis supposed to be out? Has it already been released, or?
It's out on Pirate Bay right now.
Is it? I haven't. I didn't even see. I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV since I don't know how long ago now. So I a little bit behind on reviews and previews for movies and shit. So I'll have to check this out and watch it later and give you my analysis.
I'll have to wait till it comes out on Netflix.
Well,
that's how I have to wait. Like, I'm gonna have to wait. I wanted to go see Jurassic World and I didn't get to see that. So I heard the basic was that it was genetically modified or something along those lines, dinosaurs.
Oh, I saw that too. If you need to get a movie fix in, you just go and get on your proxy and go to Pirate Bay and grab yourself like Qubit torrent or something like that. And
isn't like the torrent stuff illegal?
No, it's if you accept that authority. I've been doing it for years. I don't stop. I don't accept that authority. That's bullshit. It's literally bullshit, because how come I don't sell it. I don't like take it and sell it or do something to harm anybody with it or try to make money on it or any stupid stuff. It's a virtual living room, and if I'm not allowed to invite someone over to my virtual living room to watch a movie, I think that's horrendous. It's illegal to me. That's immoral. Like, how come I can like buy the video and then invite 50 people over to my house to watch it, and that's cool, but someone else can't buy the video and invite 50 people to watch it? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So it's as if they're trying to control and micromanage every move we make, and if we allow that by accepting it and hiding from them and doing it and then we're giving them the idea that we will accept that authority. And if that is an AI thing and they're waiting for the proper algorithm, then we should not stop doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, no, I always go by laws and stuff no matter how ridiculous they seem, is all I'm saying. So I probably won't be.
I don't actually think it's a law. It is a want that they're trying to create a law out of. It's not really a law, and we got battles to fight. It's only a law if you're like selling somebody's stuff and using it for personal gain, and then none of that's happening in my case. Yeah. No. Matter of fact, you lose IQ points after watching these stupid films, so it's not for personal gain.
That's what happened to me.
Oh no, Robert, your brain turned to mush.
Ah,
I.
snap out of it. Wake up. Actually, you know what? That brings actually a really, really. I know it sounds off topic at first, but look at that movie Source Code. It's got an interesting take on
Yes. Oh
the
my
whole
gosh.
the whole time cube
The whole
tesseract
thing.
kind of concept, and peering over the edge of space time. It really kind of, I don't know. There's a resonance there
Awesome
with that.
movie, man, but no resonance there with the physics. I mean, it is an awesome movie, though. I loved it.
Well,
Thought
it's
it'd be
almost
awesome.
like it's
A lot
almost
of
like
awesome to me. I just don't see physical relevance in them, and I have one of those. I have a pretty good grasp, like a lot
Well,
better
well,
than the average Joe grasp of
they
physics. Relatively.
well, it's not about physics. See, this is where you're wrong, Grim. It's not about physics at all. What they left out, and what I'll try to fill in some of the blanks for you, is that to solve the problem of the quantum to the macro level of physics, scientists out there have actually injected like error correction code, like the same kind of code that they put into radio and satellite transmissions and into holograms, and it almost as if. And then suddenly these quantum mechanics equations, they work when they get out into the macro level. Now that, okay, of course it's theory, right? But the thing is that the equations start to work, and I think that might be one of the things that inspired the movie Source Code, because, and actually they do make mention of it in Interstellar, and it's that to break into the other dimensions, the only thing that's shared is the weaker force. Hang on,
Understanding electromagnetics,
finish.
man.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Talk
Let
about
me finish. Let me
Well,
finish, Grim, please. Is like we call gravity the weaker force, right? Because its measurement is way smaller than we thought it should be, and that's because it's shared across dimensions. That's why it represents itself as a weaker force. We can't measure it in other dimensions to see where it all adds up, because
Are you saying
we
you
cannot.
believe this?
What?
Are you saying that you believe this to be true, or that
I didn't say I believe this. I say that's the theory, and I say that that's what's been plugged into by these other. Look, what I believe, like, as rarely left the cage of my brain. I don't like to tell people what I believe. Sometimes I'll get into it from time to time and touch on it, but what I believe is beyond the scope of this conversation. Okay, but I'm just pointing out what I've observed in these movies, what I've observed in other scientific journals, what I've observed in things that I've read. Anyway, by sharing dimensions, though, that's why gravity becomes the weaker force. Now, it seems to be the one thing that prevails across all dimensions, though. So anyhow, that said, with source code touches on that. Source code touches on that by filling in the blanks and creating a time parallax, basically.
Well,
it's like a test
in laboratory how gravity is made, and it's a tribo and piezoelectric force, and you can replicate and duplicate it now. So we understand that it's not, and we don't need more than 3 dimensions to explain it anymore. So that's the cool thing about the Sapphire project and the Thunderbolts project that I keep referring you to for the past year almost. You know, you got to check that shit out.
I watched the videos.
No, not the videos. The actual paperwork in the project and the experiments and
I'll get to it.
Those are just art and stuff for you. That's nothing compared to actually doing the fact checking and all this. And it's all there, peer-reviewed papers. I mean, dozens for the past 35 years they've been breaking this shit, man. I mean,
I've been reading peer-reviewed papers on so many different subjects. I will get to it. I will get to it.
So hard. That's what Lost has been doing for us. She's been taking notes on this new conference, and she's been putting them on her G Plus page, Lost Horizon 52. Thank you for that. She's helping out a lot with trying to explain in words. She paid for that conference. It was like $200 and some odd to go to get the.
Wow.
Well, I've only had like a 30% stable internet connection for the last 6 weeks or last 6 days now, because I had to move my trailer about 4 feet just to get the ass end of this signal. So I mean, like I've had a few other. My research time has kind of dwindled to nothing.
If you want to feel relieved and feel like, wow, a great weight has been lifted off your shoulder with all of these mysterious things that you never could explain before and didn't really make sense to you. And you look into these actual experiments, it's not so much theory anymore. They just still have to call it that because mainstream hasn't caught on yet. I mean, this is real actual proof. You can see it with your own eyes. It's so amazing, brother. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. It's like a weight is lifted. You can understand more now.
A weight got lifted for me. A weight was lifted a long time ago, brother.
Not that one. That's a big one, dude.
It was not. I never saw it as a weight before, though. Like this is how you evaluate it.
The implications are not striking you.
Evaluate it the same way.
The implications are earth-shattering, brother. That's what I mean. When you realize this stuff, you start.
My earth was shattered a long time ago, Grim. My earth was shattered a long time ago.
Well, you got to start rebuilding, right? So I mean, you have to get it the rest of the way so you can rebuild. That's what I'm saying. You got to understand this stuff so you can stop wasting your time on dark energy, black holes, and all these thoughts.
I don't believe in dark energy. Well, I don't know about black holes because we can't really observe them. But I've never said that I believe in dark energy. You're assuming that I believe in dark energy. I never said I did.
Before you even say I'm assuming too much, because this isn't really a focus on you. This is a focus on the majority of people. And I know you don't think like the majority of people. But some of the smartest people still don't understand this yet. And that's why I focus on the smartest of you right now to understand this, because I need you to understand this, to convey it with me, not alone again. I don't need to be alone in this shit anymore. Okay, I got one theoretical mathematician, Lost Horizon. In case anyone thinks like she's a vacuum cleaner sales lady or something, she's not. She is a very intelligent lady, PhD, masters, all this fun stuff, okay? So she really, I'm just trying to explain, like, she gets it. And if she gets it, why am I so crazy? Does anybody need to...
Where is Lost? Maybe we should get her here.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody has their different thoughts, beliefs, etc. on all different things, and like...
But it's cool to have a thought and a belief, but if you've never been able to do the math to see it for yourself or make an observation or watch the observation, then your belief isn't holding as much validity as they think it should, you know? The person who's giving you the belief, they're saying, well, my human right says my belief is just as equal as yours. It's like, well, my actual experience shows that your belief is not as equal to mine. And how do we convey that to people without hurting their feelings? That's where I'm at.
Right, like an actual experience, though, like that you've been there, done it yourself kind of thing.
Visualize the arc, visualize the arc and the electricity going through the vacuum of the, with the plasma gases, and saw the behavior of them myself and compared them and correlated to exactly the sunspots and the, electron acceleration away from the sun. Yeah, that kind of stuff I have definitely seen with my very own eyes. That's the new thing. That's what's not barely, they didn't even put that out on the Thunderbolts project yet. I showed that on my channel, but nobody looked. Maybe 500 people or something. Like, I took it down so I didn't get a copyright, but I was doing everyone a big favor, but nobody cares so much as they should. But I showed you guys, man, literally. Gave it to you, Sapphire Project. Showed you the plasma balls, showed you the sunspots on the sun, showed you the double layer cath wall, showed all the experiment data all the way across the board, all the experiments on 4 screens at once, spectral data, plasma vacuum pressure, temperature, radioscopy, radio waves. We showed all of that stuff on my channel for a few days because I don't want to hurt the Thunderbolts project and take away from what they're doing by copyrighting them and all that. But I also don't believe in paywalls, so I did half and half. I fucked them for a few days, and then shut it down because I don't want to fuck them all the way. And people will start with me about it. You know what I mean? And try to flag me because of it, or try to tell them and do all this weird shit and shut my channel down. Because I am trying to do good. This is all new stuff, guys. No one else is really on top of it like this. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I appreciate the people who really support me, but it hurts all the people who don't, man. Because I come at them with my smiley face and I'm happy, and then I get punched in the face and they go, "Oh, you're crazy. Why'd you go off on that guy? He barely did anything to you." I'm like, "Yeah, because he's one of 75,000 this week. Y'all gotta calm down. I can only take so much. That's what it is. There's more of everyone else than there is of me, and if I'm interacting with everyone, then let's remember that and try to be calm. Unless you're just doing it for the fun of it, then I'm starting to ban y'all. You know what I mean? Those kind of people are just playing too much and joking and fucking around and messing with my show.
I think we're kind of getting a little off topic. We're kind of making this more about us than anything. we
Well, it's
should.
really about the information and how people that are giving out this information have a hard time as well.
Well, I mean, and this is just it. I mean, this kind of let's segue it back to Fear Porn's original topic, which is how between AI, the release of information, and disinformation, I mean, confuses the masses into a different direction or a different spread.
Well, it's all correlated. I mean, that's how it all works. I mean, these are behavior patterns that have been instilled in people from predictive programming, television, for conditioning, radio, conditioning ideas, commercials. I mean, this is all part of that. And this is social experiment. Started on paper before it started on computer. I mean, they've been at this for a very long time. Started in stone before that, right? So it's all really correlated in reality. It's just which part of it are we looking at? What do you want to focus on? That's a good question.
FP. Did he?
He's muted on the other channel.
He might be letting us ramble.
I'll start playing the guitar if you don't get back.
Oh, we can get back to the whole the Jade Helm and the AI thing. I guess
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say from my standpoint, because I know there's different beliefs and stuff. To me, it's not gonna be that big of a deal, but that's just from my standpoint.
See, I mean.
I don't think
I
it's
guess
going to be that big of a
one interpretation is that it's just like that stupid transasia. Like too many people are arguing about the what rather than the why, and what else is going on around them. It's all sleight of hand. It's
testing 1 2.
There you go.
Hey, there he is. There he's back.
Yeah, what's going on behind the curtain that we're not being shown?
Well, that's just it. I mean, while we're rambling on trying to unlock the secrets of the universe, the goddamn world right under our feet is fucking falling apart.
Oh yeah.
Like,
there's lots of different reasons why Jade Helm is going on.
And that's in no way, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Graham, but it's happening to everybody in all facets of information. I mean, like whether it's Christianity, they're trying to destroy that. If it's your belief in quantum physics, they're trying to destroy that.
I don't have a belief in quantum physics.
Not you. Yeah, there you go. Now.
Calm down.
If one believes.
Unless you still love Chad.
Whatever the belief is, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, FB. Yeah. You're back.
Oh no, I was just adding things.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we're so busy arguing over, fundamentally, we'll use this as a metaphor, over digital compression to not go after the underlying issues at hand and what's really practical. I mean, seriously.
Well, I just mainly wanted to just get it out there that the awareness that there is an artificial intelligence, and it works for the military.
Absolutely.
And it was born in the military, and that just creeps me out.
Well, you know what? We'll do a little bit of research on this, but look into. Hang on a second here. Her name is Ada. I'm gonna look this up. Should come right up.
Like
Ada
said,
Lovelace.
Robert, while you're looking for that, like you said, about the idea behind that. It's same with that with this proverbial gonna kill everybody in the future kind of thing when they're already doing it through soft kill methods now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They got everybody thinking, oh, there's this event that's gonna happen where all of these people are gonna die all at once, and it's like, no, you're already getting, it's like 13% of you are getting killed now on a regular. That's a good amount of people every year.
Yeah,
and they sweep it under the rug with the media propaganda.
10 years. Because of all
their
lack of procreation and their lack of procreation exponentially, that just doesn't add up. You got to be careful with the numbers game they're playing, because it's like they're all accountants and they're counting ways to kill you, accounting ways to save on budget by telling how many people can be gay with BPA so they don't procreate, and how many more actual marriages can be made with less babies at the same time so they can still have funding for, you know, special things, you know, because they make another straw man for a marriage. So it's like there's so many different ways and aspects that they're accounting and using your commodity, your human commodity, against, you know,
Yes.
you with their system getting bigger. You know, so
Welcome in, Eric.
Okay. Hey there, Eric. Mr. Zipper, how are you, sir?
Hey, Eric.
Okay, I
I guess
have.
his mic's not working.
That happened to me a couple times. I couldn't hear you guys for a minute.
Check 1 2, check 1 2.
Hey, there he is.
There he is.
Okay, I found what I was looking for. Okay,
Ada,
Did you want to put it up?
yeah, actually, yeah. I'll share this up. Give me a sec here.
And then after you're done, I want to go into the evolution of strategic environment. Kind of read it to you guys.
All right, cool.
See what
And
you
this is in the video. I can actually just go on. I can actually just explain as we go here. Let me. I'll increase the size of the text for everyone. Okay, the Ada programming language. Ada is a modern programming language designed for large, long-lived applications and embedded systems in particular, where reliability and efficiency are essential. It was originally developed in the early 1980s. This version is generally known as Ada 83 by a team led by Dr. Jean Ixbia, Honeywell Bull in France. That was a combination of Honeywell Corporation and Bull. I guess it was a joint venture. The language was compatible fashion in the early 1990s under the leadership of Mr. Tucker, blah, 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 blah. The resulting language, Ada 95, was the first internationally standardized ISO object-oriented language. Under the auspices of ISO, a further minor revision was completed as an amendment to the standard. The version of the language known as Ada 2005 work is currently in progress on some additional features and is expected to be completed in 2012. 2012 is an important date, if you guys recall. The name Ada is not an acronym. It was chosen in honor of Augusta Ada Lovelace, 1815 to 1850, times regarded as the world's first programmer because of her work with Charles Babbage. She was also the daughter of the poet Lord Byron. Now, there's a whole long rabbit hole you can go down if you go and trace the Byrons back. Well, we can do that. Actually, I'm working on a video, and I've got another 2 or 3 weeks of research to do just to do that. But there's some family feuding going on between a couple big houses on this planet. Anyway, Ada is seeing significant usage worldwide in high integrity, safety critical, high security domains, including commercial and military aircraft avionics, air traffic control, railroad systems, and medical devices. With its embodiment of modern software engineering principles, Ada is an excellent teaching language for both introductory and advanced computer science courses, and it has been the subject of significant university research, especially in the area of real-time technology. That's important. Let's go down scalar ranges. Okay, that's I won't get into object orientation. It requires a programming course.
Hey, is that scalar as in scalar weaponry?
Negative. Scalar ranges is a way of producing floating point decimal numbers and scaling those up and down through fixed point or like different types of enumeration. Like I said, it kind of requires a bit of a programming course. They're the two aren't. I would say that automated systems would use scalar functions in their programming, but they're not related. Okay, let's go down to high integrity systems. Let's see here. This is more or less an overview of the language itself. However, it's been used. They use Ada for for automated systems. Like let's say a pilot passes out during a bank maneuver and the jet has to take control of itself. Ada does that. There's all other kinds of applications for it. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on this in a little while. Now, let's go to Ada Lovelace. There's a pretty lady there.
I know a stripper named Ada.
Yeah, no, if only. Okay, let's see here. Childhood, adult years, education, work. First computer program. We'll go there. This is the important part. In 1840, 1940, Babbage was invited to give a seminar. That was where he was a mathematician. She was a programmer. He was a mathematician. People often say you have to be a good mathematician to be a programmer. Untrue. People write equations. Programmers fill in variables. There's a big difference between the two. If you're both, then that's a great thing, but not necessarily necessary. But yes, okay, Babbage was invited to give a seminar at the University of Turin about his analytical engine. The analytical engine, by the way, is an analog computer made with gears, pulleys, switches, and it's completely analog, not a drop of, actually I believe it was designed to be steam powered. If you guys want to look into the analytical engine, the boys at MIT about 20 years ago, 25 years ago actually built a functional model, and they plugged Ada's programming code into it, and it worked flawlessly. Okay, and this was done back in the 1800s. Anyhow, there's some very important things about, yeah, here's where we get into even concepts of transhumanism, however loosely related, started way back, and even Ada herself, it says her notes were labeled alphabetically from A to G. In note G, she describes an algorithm for the analytical engine to compute Bernoulli numbers. It is considered the first algorithm ever specifically tailored for implementation on a computer, and Ada has often been cited as the first computer programmer for this reason. The engine was never completed, however, so her code was never tested. Let's see here. Conceptual leap. I'm just looking for where it talks about how she was considered, basically she thought of it as poetry for computers, but it was like, yeah, it was more of an abstract idealization that she had for computer programming even back in those days, which we would call AI now. Just looking here, a bit of a reading. Analysis was a conceptual leap from previous ideas about the capabilities of computing devices and anticipated the capabilities and implications of modern computing 100 years before they were realized. Did I just read that? Or is that just a second quote? Okay, Walter Isaacson ascribes Lovelace's insight regarding the application of computing to any process based on logical symbols to an observation about textiles. When she saw some mechanical looms that used punch cards to direct the weaving of beautiful patterns, it reminded her of how Babbage's engine used punch cards to make calculations. This insight has been seen as significant by writers such as Beth O'Toole, Benjamin Woodley, as well as programmer John Graham Cumming, whose project Plan 28 has the aim of constructing the first complete analytical engine. I think that's the gentleman from MIT, believe it or not. Anyway, hang on. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me. She detected a bug in that. Bear with me. Don't mind the dead air. She has been referred to as the prophet of the computer age. Certainly she was the first to express the potential for computers outside mathematics. Chemical in popular culture, commemoration. The Ada Initiative is a non-profit organization dedicated to increasing the involvement of women in the free culture and open source movements. Ada Fruit Industries is an open source hardware company named in honor of Ada Lovelace. Yeah, she's got a huge impact on everything that's computer and programming based. I mean, if you take a course on computer programming, you're going to learn about her. Well, if your teacher's any good anyway, they'll point you in that direction. Seem to have lost Grimm. And Ladder. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to go on too much further. I mean, there's a lot of reading involved. I can't find the part where it gets into the abstraction. Of course, when I did this last, I had about 13 different tabs open, so I might not even be on the right page because I went down quite a big rabbit hole going further into it. But yeah, She's actually got some RH blood. Her bloodline goes way back through the Byrons. She's an important figure of royalty. There's a lot of things going on here, not just the fact that she was the first, dignified computer programmer, but she goes back historically.
Okay.
So, but like I said, this ties into the whole AI and computer thing. And like I said, they've adopted the Ada programming language with military, with avionics, with all kinds of things. And like I said, in commemoration of her contribution, I don't think it's an accident. That's
yeah,
my
that
opinion.
sounds similar. So do you think that Ada could be connected to Jade?
I think Ada is directly connected to Jade. I think it's plugged in as one of the prongs.
Interesting.
No doubt.
Because,
I mean, when you
that's
think
where we
about how
get.
advanced the information that Ada is given, I mean, you would think Jade would want to use something like that, correct?
Well, I don't know when you tuned in, but when we were talking earlier about how all of this data and all of these, all of this fuzzy or metadata that's been collected over the years, off the air before we started the show, we talked about how it's very analogous to cryogenics. You know, like you're gonna, freeze my body until you can figure out how to save me. They weren't worried about how they're going to read the information or the data or how they're even going to process it. They knew right away how they were going to do it. They just figured they'd figure it out later. They just needed to get the data. So yeah, of course. I mean, like, and don't kid yourself into thinking, guys, that the internet is ours, because it's not. It is part of the ARPA or the DARPA initiative, and part of their initiative is to collect behavioral science. It's to also, through the use of things like Google, I mean, predictive analysis. And guess what? All of that data, everything that they've managed to collect over the last 30, 40, 50 years, and that's not just that. I mean, they were collecting information as early as 1940s during the Second World War. Most of the metadata that they have on anybody was achieved through direct observation of troop movements and troops, and like, this stuff was being collected before they had electronic means of collection or dissemination. Believe me, this is all being
easier with the phones and us putting our information into Facebook and all that.
That's right, and it was part of the DARPA initiative. Remember, there's another, like, just like how there's a dark net, there's a layer of internet underneath. There's a layer of internet on top that we're not even don't even have access to.
DJ talked about that in one of those shows she was interviewed in. DJ from Level 9 News. She really breaks down this Jade II information.
Right.
And she was talking about that exact thing.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason why.
Not the dark net, but some sort of other network that you actually need hardware for.
Yeah.
We can't connect to with our current hardware.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and this could be considered supposition. This could be considered just my educated guess, but there's a reason, okay, for you protocol privy people out there who understand packet protocols like IP version 4, which is a standard that we use. They skipped IP5 and went straight to IPv6. And there's a reason for it. And hardly any of our applications even use IPv6. The difference between the two is one uses a much more sophisticated IP addressing system and has a lot more space in its header for different types of data to be sent inside the packet. That's how it works. But there is no IPv5. IPv5, in my opinion, has been the top level this entire time until they made one better, but they didn't implement it because most of the systems that we're using is all IPv4, and that's all it'll ever be. Okay, but don't think for a second that those IPv4 packets can't be processed by an IPv6 or IPv5 processor and then relayed somewhere else. This stuff is being intercepted as packets and being stored. Period. When you had 256 megabyte hard drives, they had terabyte hard drives the size of a room, but they were still recording these bits of information. Guaranteed, because that's part of the. It's a DARPA hard question. It's a DARPA hard solution. This was a DARPA initiative from day one, And one of my upcoming videos will show that.
Hey Rob, what kind of financial sanctions or backing for a program such as this?
Well, I
Is it
can't.
I mean, is it private or government? Is what I'm asking.
I say it's all black ops. I mean, they can't if they can't show it on a ledger. If they could show it on a ledger, would people pay for it? Fuck no. So that's why the CIA and other operations have used drugs and pushed them and brought weapons in and brought weapons out and used bullshit municipalities, you know, good nature to pull the wool over their eyes. That's why lots of these things are being done. Why? Because they want to have a stranglehold of your information. Like the old saying goes, knowledge is power. And if they have it before you even know you have it, then they already win. And this is the thing. Anybody who wants to fool themselves into a false sense of security and think that we actually run this, you're sadly mistaken. Hey, hey there, welcome back, FP. But yeah, you're sadly mistaken. Like I don't mean to spread fear either, but I'm just saying, like, get your head out of the clouds and get your head out of the sand and start looking at what this really is. And I'm not asking you guys to take networking lessons on learning IP packet protocol, because that won't save you. Just being aware of it, you know, is the first step.
That's why I wanted to do this specific program today, because of wanting to express that awareness aspect, just getting it out there so you know people are aware.
No, good on you for that, because we're actually up one of my alleys as far as you know, subject matter goes. I know a lot of people out there hate me, and I hate to come on here and ruin your show, FP, but you know, this is one of the things that I do know something about, and it's really hard to communicate to people who don't quite understand the complexity of it, and you know. It's like you know, it's like explaining to people how anti-gravity works. Well, I haven't even figured that out yet. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, Rob, you hate it without a cause, but you know, hatred fuels your information. That's what keeps you strong and keeps you on point and keeps you focused. So you know, you can use that as a tool and not a total negative or ignorance.
Yeah, but you know, I don't suffer, like a lot of people would argue differently, but I don't suffer from pride or from ego. I mean, I've been punched in the balls metaphorically so many times, and hey, keep it up. I don't mind.
Right.
You know, hey, I'll just keep coming back. I'll keep coming back like the T-1000.
Right.
Until you throw me into a pot of boiling steel, then it'd be, you know, a little, you know, that probably would silence me.
And then we'll come out with the third version of you.
Hey, I want to welcome in Tony. I didn't get to, you know, let him in. So welcome in, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, thank you guys. I was just listening.
It's nice
I
to have
didn't
you
realize
on.
Tony
I haven't
was
had
in
you on
here.
in a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a while, Tony. How you been?
Pretty good, man. I had to set my alarm. I got an invite for the panel, and you know, I've set an alarm on my phone, and I made it.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Glad to have you in here, Tony. I always thought
Did you want to add anything to the AI discussion?
Oh, the AI. That's what we're talking about now. You know, I don't know.
The Jade and all that.
I don't know too much about it except what I've actually seen in the movies. Really, I haven't heard too many, you know, important people talking about it. Which, I mean, I'm sure there are, but I just kind of missed that part.
Well, they probably won't. Like, they probably won't, and they won't.
Well, you're not going to hear about the Jade connection. I mean, I'm sorry, the AI connection.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you won't hear that on here.
And that's because of compartmentalization. I mean, Hey, it's been happening since universities were created. I mean, they would compartmentalize subjects of research, A, by charging money for a particular category of knowledge, and B, like that makes it inaccessible to some people, first off, and secondly, it makes every other category almost inaccessible because you focused on one subject. So I mean, even if, like, why do you think why do you think a geophysicist can't talk to like an astrobiologist? Well, like completely unrelated fields, right? Yeah, well, they have to learn different languages for each of those topics, so that way when they do get into a room together, even though suddenly their groundbreaking solution might involve both of those subjects, guess what? They can't talk to each other. It's like a doctor not being able to talk to an electrician, because they speak two entirely different languages. They're both men of a craft, or women, you know what I mean? But the bottom underlying point is that they keep it from us by design.
Exactly.
So let me just go into this abstract version of what Jade represents, according to this document, right?
Okay, go for it. Yeah,
Jade
that'd be awesome.
for Rapid Crisis Action Planning. It's from BBN Technologies. And I believe this is one of the documents that Level 9 News talks about in depth, because it gets into analytical kind of communication. And if you don't understand that, if you're not like Rob, you don't really grasp the deeper elements. So I'm just going to read the abstract thing, and then we'll kind of go into some stuff. And then I can go into some stuff in the bottom, and then I want to go into the other thing, the mastering the human domain. And then we'll go into another document after that. And we can
I just glanced at your screen share, and like down in the bottom third, the word DARPA just jumped right out at me. I was like, "See,
yeah, exactly." So I'm gonna read this out real fast, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab coffee while you do that. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. After you get through reading that, I remembered the question that I had for the show. So go ahead, and I'll throw that in first chance I get.
Okay, for sure. So the Joint Assistant for Development and Execution, Jade, offers a new technique for rapid force development planning, especially in crisis situations. Jade is being developed by BBN Technologies under contract to the Air Force Research Lab and Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, or DARPA. It is being designed to operate with the next generation global command and control system. Jade implements state-of-the-art technology to reduce the time typically required for building a time-phase force deployment data package, which presently takes days or weeks, down to approximately 1 hour. In order to support the command and control needs of planners today and the 21st century, several challenges are being met to transition Jade from a research prototype to a fully operational system. And side note, this is a fully operational system now. These are the notes, these are the actual documents about the implementation before it was implemented. These include integrating various data systems, seeking user input and buy-in, porting to new computing environments, assuring compliance with the Defense Information Infrastructure Common Operating Environment, and testing in exercise scenarios. Now, side note, exercise scenarios could be considered what we're dealing with Jade Helm 15 right now, considering it is considered an exercise, according to the news people. A potential technology transition candidate for Jade is the Adaptive Course of Action, ACOA, program. ACOA is a DARPA Advanced Conceptual Technology Demonstration, or ACTD, that provides the means to employ new technologies in the joint operations planning and execution environments. The ACOA tool suite is also a key enabler in achieving Joint Vision 2010. In this paper, A detailed overview of Jade is provided along with plans for technology transition. So that's pretty much the layout of what Jade 1 was. Now we're dealing with Jade 2. Go ahead. Anybody want to speak?
Well, let me just throw this question in while I got it on my mind. I saw it was a picture of the United States, and it had certain areas where Jade was going to be operating. And yes, honey, just a minute. I was just wondering. Bye bye, bye bye. I was just wondering, is Jade going to be able to, the artificial intelligent part of it, going to be able to close down the internet so that the people that are in those areas won't be able to report what's going on? So that's my question.
I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Go ahead,
the quick answer is yes. But the slightly longer answer is it's not necessary yet at this point because there's still enough assholes running the system that they can do it by the flick of a switch. But in the absence of those people, when this thing becomes self-autonomous, then yes, for sure. It'll be able to shut down parts of the grid anywhere, just like, by you thinking a thought,
right?
They'll shut it down because they'll predictively analyze that you'll think that thought, and they'll shut it down before you get to do anything.
So that's kind of the question. Do you think that the shutdown will happen at this time in those certain areas, and we won't be able to know what's going on there?
Well, I mean, my analysis of it is that this is called a drill. They might be they might be testing out different things simultaneously here, but that's definitely one aspect that they're testing, if not using. Again, they're testing for. They're going to be monitoring the whole situation and recording more data. How do you respond? How do you react? But they need real time data just as much as they can use metadata to predictively. To predictively analyze something. They still need real time data. And measure responses because there's still a baseline, even like Rem was saying before, it's stupid just to assume something and predict it and think it's going to happen that way because everything has the X factors involved. However, pre-crime will work on basic assumptions collected from real-time data. So this could all just be one big push for more data.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with Rob on that because there's this perception of the psyop and the idea of if you create a scenario around a certain amount of people that you're watching, you can watch how they react to that scenario, and the computer can do that.
Okay, very quickly. I have a contact that was in one of those marked areas of the so-called drill, and we're going to try to stay in contact as long as possible. You get the idea what I'm saying? To see if we lose contact. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Well, that's probably one of the areas that they're going to be monitoring is what are you going to do in order to achieve contact now? See, if they cut off the power, what are you going to do to get more power? Are you going to run a generator or are you going to steal solar cells? Where do you become? They're going to have risk analyses of everything that happens, in every category. So they got rolling blackouts, they got AT&T shutting down cell networks, and people are losing their internet. I mean,
you have to remember this thing's a quantum computer. It predicts things in every element at once. It can think of several reactions that you may not have.
Right.
The best way to kind of Like it's really like quantum tunneling is really really difficult to explain, but the best way to visualize it is like this. Okay, imagine all the complex data you have. Everything that when a person wakes up in the morning, they eat eggs. They do this, they do that. All of these are quantifiable bits of data that are like peaks and valleys on a graph. Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
but to achieve a decision on how somebody is going to respond to something, when you ask a question, you're going to have to go up and down those peaks and valleys until you finally reach the piece of data that answers your question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way quantum tunneling works is it busts through those peaks and valleys straight to the answer. It uses quantum bits and a very complex means of observing, and you can't even observe a quantum bit directly because
It
changes a result, right?
Right.
So I mean, they use a very complex means of I guess you could say indirect observation to quantum tunnel to the answer, and that's like I was saying before. Like if you ask the question, "What's 4 plus 4?" which equals 8. Well, your quantum computer is going to get the same result just as fast as your PC at home does. I mean, it's a stupid purchase. Yeah, or a calculator. Yeah, exactly. But when you start to ask the more complex questions, oh yeah, it'll leave your computer in the dust and come up with the answer just as fast as it came up with 8.
Now, as what Level 9 new DJ said, was that this thing can answer questions we never even asked.
But no, you will.
Yep.
It knows
So,
it. It knows we will at some
So
point.
it answers questions we never even thought of asking.
But at some point we would
So
ask.
that's where you get time travel.
Right.
We don't even understand how to get to that level, but a machine can figure it out.
They done already pre-programmed the machine.
Right, hold on a
to
second,
be
I have a
advanced
call.
than humans.
Okay, you guys. Very quickly, over on the side chat, I put in a title to a YouTube video, Yowie Tetragrammaton, a gravity generator. This guy Nassim Harriman is he's like Einstein on steroids, man. And if you want to take a pause for about an hour, I think the video is maybe an hour and a half, and check this out. There's there's something else going on here that involves this man, and I really am I'm concerned about how long he's going to live with the answers and with the information that he's already put out for free on YouTube. And I'll let it go there if anybody's got anything to say.
Well, actually, it's funny because a friend of mine just brought this up to me a couple days ago. I haven't had any chance to read it, but well, he better get that out into as many websites as possible because if he just leaves it on YouTube, you know where that's going to go.
Well, yeah, but he's already more advanced than that. I just threw that out there as for the conversation at the moment. There's more things going on than that, and I wish if I could give you guys a present, a gift, it would be this guy's videos on YouTube that for the information.
Absolutely, well, I'll check it out for sure, man, for sure.
Okay, let me take care of this.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, I wanted to implement a thing. Basically,
I'll be right
an
back.
idea. Okay. To you then, Rob. I wanted to implement an idea. There's this. Think about chess, right? In a chess game, you'd in order to play generally, you think like at least 12 moves ahead, right?
Yes.
Now,
If you're any good, I can think about 4 moves ahead, and then I start looking at shiny objects in the room.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean, a good player can think at least 12 moves ahead. So, a chess. So think of a machine playing chess can think about all the way to the end result.
Right.
checking you, and then checking you in several ways, like because there's different directions to take. Correct?
Right.
So that's quantum right there.
Mm,
The idea of
well,
every type of level of destroying you, like checking
well,
your
well
king
then
based on every move you make, the first move, whatever first move you make, they can
you
figure out the end result.
you just touched on a very, very, very important concept, my friend.
Yes.
Now, why do you think they've been trying to calcify our brains, our pineal glands? Why do you think they have tried to make us dysfunctional, non-functional hominids here? Because I think in our heads we have a quantum processor. I think we
There
have
you
that
go.
ability because what you just said is exactly that.
There you
Because
go.
you are unfolding time and space in your head when you're thinking that way,
Woo!
and you're
Yes.
achieving a form of quantum tunneling.
You're
Well,
basically, well,
We
I mean,
are
but I'm
we
not
are
saying
the
you're thinking to the end result. You're only thinking at least 12 moves ahead. A really good chess player like Bobby Fischer could think like maybe 20 to 40.
all right.
about
Yeah.
So the idea exists that we are able and capable to be alpha and omega. That's something that I already roll with. I
we
can
we
see
are we are the event horizon.
if I want to go to the end of a situation, I'll take my mind there and go.
That's right. That's right. I do that too.
You know,
You
I
basically
time travel
create the
mentally,
situation
right?
ahead of time
Yeah,
and then play it out
and
in
then
your
play
mind.
it out, right? You follow the steps through. Yeah, I
That's
do it
right.
constantly in my life. That's how I survive pretty much.
Yes, but we do it on an intellectual level, and we also do it on an emotional level. I'm saying that the computer bypasses the intellectual or the emotional and goes straight to the source.
And some
Right.
would say the
Because,
subconscious works the exact same way, brother. I mean, sometimes
yeah,
you can avoid a bad situation just by not being there, and
So you're
right.
who
basically
knows?
saying that
Eliminate the
Jade is
reason.
like subconscious.
Yes, yes.
It's
Can I-
downloaded. Because see, the thing about it, when they created the social network bundle, because see, once you create a bundle, you can easily dump the bundle and create another one. That's why they're so afraid of us communicating, because when we communicate on a higher frequency, we become the strongest organism on the motherfucking planet. You heard?
Hmm.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, let me throw this out here. If you take a laser and if you shine it, out into space, it's toward, like, say, past the sun. Well, as the laser light goes past the sun, our sun, it bends a little bit, and as it travels on through the universe, it runs into other stars. It gets bent a little more, and on and on and on. And
Hmm.
as you
They can
look
use it.
out,
Yeah. Sorry.
let me finish. As you look out into the night sky, it's black, right? And that's because we exist inside of a black hole.
It's not black. Maybe you live in a very lighted city. Have you ever been to Jasper? It's anything
Well,
but dark. It's anything but black.
I'm
You
talking
can
about
even make.
I've been up on Mount Rainier camping, man, and it's totally dark. No campfire. You got the stars, but there's the sky is black. And what's coming to the forefront of physics is that each atom is a black hole. Our whole body is made up of atoms, and they are black holes. We are the event horizon, and that's where the exchange of what we see and sense through our five senses is where we are the focus point of the exchange of information. Now,
Motherfucking right.
Nassim Harriman explains this a whole lot better than I can. I just wanted to throw the idea out there.
Yeah.
I hope it kind of intrigues you guys so that you'll maybe look into this. But it is some extraordinary information that this fellow has.
Yeah, Harriman's the one from What the Belief Do We Know?
Well, yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. I can't disagree. But
No, I know because I looked into it. After we talked last time, I looked into who he was, and I remembered. I originally saw him on What the Bleep Do We Know? He's like one of the physicists. The
oh, yeah, the one with the girl that has trouble speaking. That movie.
yeah.
That, okay, yeah, okay. I got you. I remember now.
Yeah, and he presents the idea that we are in a quantum reality essentially through physics, which is
Yeah.
holographic.
Yeah, and he the thing about it is he proves it with the numbers. He matches up. He solves some of Einstein's field equations that were, they just left them behind because nobody knew. And now
That's
go
what I
ahead.
was touching on earlier, Tony. I was touching on the subject earlier. I came from it at a different angle, and in order to solve equations, bridging the gap between the quantum and the relativistic world, they had used, like, believe it or not, like, physicists were actually literally plugging in code that they thought they made up, but later on, other programmers would look at it and say, "Oh no, that's error correction code." This is code they use for compression, data compression routines. Like, and like these plugins suddenly work. They work as an interface from one to the other, which does suggest the possibility for non-corporeal holographic existence or a shared. If you look at things like Hermeticism, whereas this is all one shared a collective consciousness. Our five senses in our bodies, with our five, maybe six possible senses, are really just input-output systems for a greater thing.
Yeah, the event horizon, and that's where
Well,
all the information lies there. Of our universe, the event horizon of our universe, and it has something to do with this double torus effect. Have you seen that? I mean, that's extraordinary.
You know what I'm thinking too, though. Because a lot of this information is great, and once again, I'm SpongeBob on the table. But a lot of it is outside of ourselves. And searching outside of yourself, you'll continue to search. But if you find out that all these things really exist down inside of you, like I'm still working on pulling what y'all say to me down inside, because I know that frequency, if it's outside, it definitely got to exist inside, because Robert said it's input and it's outputs, and they start with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like to always bring it home to see where this fits at with me, because I believe in the gravity theory, but if you believe in gravity, then you're going to be always held down. That's just the way I picture it, if you can see what I'm saying.
That's a good point. It's a good point. And I like to draw the analogy of like back when we still believed in the contraction theory of the Big Bang, where it would expand to a point and then contract in on itself. Well, it wasn't until we started reaching out further and further that we started realizing that the universe is increasing its expansion at an accelerating rate. Well, the more...
We lost you there, Robert. Or did I lose everybody?
No, I'm still here. I can still hear you, Tony.
Okay, well,
But
we
yeah,
lost
Robert disappeared.
He'll be back.
Okay, well, in reference to what he was talking about, I was kind of like trying to link it to these weapon data links networks. I
Right?
can't even talk when I'm listening to myself. Weapon data link network, ACTP.
Is that going to increase?
Right.
Is he back?
Yeah, he back.
Are you there, Robert?
Yeah, I'm here. Why did I disappear?
Okay, yeah, you can continue, Robert. I was just doing an intermission until you got back.
Oh, I didn't realize I cut out. I'm on a very, very sketchy
Yeah, you cut out for like
signal.
Well, go ahead.
He was gone like a week ago.
That was a Google effect. Sorry. Sorry, the Scroogle effect. I was saying that like I have an analogy of how we look at we looked at the universe, our galaxy or the universe. We looked at the Big Bang theory with the big contraction. It would eventually come and smash in on itself. But the more we looked out and saw the universe, the bigger it got, and the more we realized it was expanding at an ever increasing rate. But yet we are still, like, I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying to think about it. Like, throw this in your brains, everyone. If we constantly look out, are we rebuilding? Are we creating a bigger universe just by reaching out? Is this thing redefining and rewriting itself, like this holographic?
Yes, it is. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think you're onto something there.
Yeah. Okay. Because like it seems to be redefining itself, reconstructing itself, and then at the very end of the day, when people are trying to tie in different theories, they start plugging in data compression code or decompression code to make it work, and it does work. Suddenly, it becomes a different reality. Now, like I said, like I'm not. I've got months and years of research to do to actually be able to understand it myself. But at least, like. What if that's true? I mean, the implications
not if you listen to some of those videos by Nassim Harriman, you'll cut your research time down by at least 2/3. I'm serious, man. I wouldn't blow him up like this just because. I've been listening to this guy for at least 5 years, and it only lately, like in the last few months, have I been able to understand what the fuck he was talking about.
And I was thinking that a lot of our answers could come from the dream world, because if we wake up in a world of duality or whatever we want to categorize it, when we go to sleep, it's the multiverse, it's any world, it's limitless. I mean, we can fly, we can do everything that we're supposed to do in this world, but this world has rules when you wake up. In the dream world, there is no rules unless you make them. Because in some cases, I go in as the master of my dream.
What the bleep do we know is a good beginner's guide to how quantum mechanics works.
You know where I learned what I just said? Literally, I looked at the basis and fundamentals of Hermeticism, which come back from 1800 years ago in ancient Greece. They were already on this.
Anon 51. I mean 2150 is all about Hermeticism.
Yeah, Plato and Socrates. They Where did those guys come from? Everybody else was selling sheep and busting rocks, and these guys were talking about quantum physics, quantum mechanics.
Or rose by another name, right?
What was that?
Yes, or rose by another name.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So where did those guys get their knowledge from? The basis of our civilization, especially mathematically, is based on those guys, Plato and Socrates and some others, I can't remember their names, from their writings and what have you, hundreds of years ago.
Maybe they're Rh negative blood types, and they didn't have calcification or fluoride in their water.
Hey Rob, this is exactly what I'm saying. No disrespect to any of the great writers or scholars or whatever like that, but it's like we constantly give props to those of the unknown, as opposed to Rob that just dropped some shit for free on us. I mean, you feel what I'm trying to say? In some cases, we giving credit to Socrates, this one and that one, for creating all these things, and we've never really communicated with these guys.
Yes, they on here, brother. They left information that's available today.
I'm talking about actual communication like we have right here. This is what I'm saying. Like, except you talk about Socrates, I would never probably get into it. So that's why I'm giving you props for bringing it up. That's what I'm trying to say. As opposed to going to Socrates myself, because I don't have that access to have him sitting in my motherfucking couch.
Well, let me run one more thing by you real quick. Have you all seen that model of the universe where they got a guy blowing up a balloon, and they've got pennies glued to the balloon, and they're saying that's the visual representation of the universe? Has anybody seen that picture?
I have not.
Okay, that's the standard view. It's in the physicist books today, right? Well, Nassim Harriman stepped into a gathering of, he was invited into a group of physicists and students and him. And he pulls, after all, they're talking string theory and all these other hundreds of, complicated theories about the universe and what have you. So he asked him a question. Okay, the guy's blowing up the universe, and our universe is expanding, and the galaxies are moving apart. So he asked, "Well, who is this guy?" Because the one of the first rules of physics is for every action you have an opposite and equal reaction, correct?
Well, that's according to Newton, but yeah.
Yeah, that's in
Well,
there.
okay, so they don't have it. He shut the whole damn conference down because they don't have a formula for the other side of the equation for the retraction of the lungs that's blowing up the universe. Expanding the universe. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, they couldn't possibly because like they don't know all of the X factors. Yes, they have the quantifiable data that they have to work with, but let's just work with me here on this. Like, let's just say
okay,
that there is,
Robert.
let's just say, hang on. Let me finish. Just
All right.
work with me on this. Let's just say that M theory is correct and that there's 11 dimensions. Okay. Let's say gravity, the weaker force, does spread itself out amongst those 11 dimensions. It doesn't matter to us because 5 through 11 are undetectable by any means that we have other than possibly spiritual means. But really, we don't have any actual direct access to quantifying that data. So those X factors are not computatable. Like, you cannot go and process that information. You just can't.
Correct.
Like, so basically it's a red herring right from day one. So like,
Yeah.
I personally am under, this is one of my personal beliefs that are getting out right now. I don't think it needs to be solved. I don't think it needs to be figured out.
Well,
I don't think we need to define it. We got more clear present dangers at hand than to worry about the definition or construction of our universe or anything else.
Well, this guy has the solution to war, poverty, famine, the whole 9 yards.
So does Thor News. Just don't do it. It's that simple.
Right.
Yeah, but Thor doesn't have no. What am I trying to say? Thor doesn't have no standing. He can put out his ideas, to us and across the internet for the audience.
I think
listen. Nassim has the numbers. The equations. They figured it. He's figured. Well, he has a group of people working with him, also physicists, but they've got the numbers, the solutions, and they are correct as to what is the nature of our reality.
Well, again, like, I'm going to have to be skeptical on that statement because, but I mean, like, you don't need to have all the information. Again, just how if you look at a quantum bit directly, it changes the result. Well, you can also look at these things indirectly. If NASA and CERN are going to lie about everything, then obviously they're covering something up, and that's indirect observation. Now, you can come to conclusions that obviously we, are being led down a different stray path. So, I mean, I'm not saying that this guy's not correct, but I am saying that we don't necessarily know what is correct, and I don't think we need to figure it out because it's not going to answer anything. All it's going to do is beg more questions.
I don't think so, Robert. You're going to have to watch one or two of his videos, man. And I swear, I usually don't say things like this, but I swear to God, it'll turn the light bulb on, man, in your head.
All right, Tony. Let's go to special interests, right? Do he talk about like teleportation?
Yes.
Shit like that. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to check him out. I mean, has he ever teleported anywhere? Has he ever levitated?
They're doing
videos of getting up off the ground.
They're doing laboratory experiments, but okay. I don't know the extent of it.
The extent of it, right? Okay, I'll give it a will, because you can't knock the hustle.
Man, I wish we could talk sometime in the
Yeah.
future after you guys had a chance to just view just
Hey,
one of those
hey,
films.
hey,
I
Rob.
do. I
After
really do
I'm
appreciate it.
there
No,
with
and
you,
I will look at it.
Todd.
I will. No, I will look at it, Tony. I'm just playing devil's
I mean,
advocate, and
Tony.
I'm playing a skeptic.
hey,
Well,
Rob.
Okay, I'm playing a skeptic just for the sake of this conversation. That well, I'm also telling you guys what my personal belief is, and that's it doesn't need to be figured out by not participating. You know how we beat the system? We beat the system by not
By
by
not
participating
participating.
in the system. Yes.
that's right.
Boycott the whole
But it
system.
can't just be you and me. It has to be like most people.
Everybody.
Mm.
Oh,
Everybody.
No,
yes.
30. At least
Boycotting.
30%. At least 30%.
Nope.
Yeah.
You need more. You need more.
No, you
You
only
need
need
more.
30% to actually change anything.
We need everybody climbing up on
They've proved
the
that.
mountaintops, on the rooftops, and screaming at the top of their lungs. Like this is what we
Right.
need. We
Let,
need to
Fuck
create a
this.
collective consciousness that works for everybody.
let me run this past you real
That'd be
quick.
nice.
There are men, these yogis and what have you, that are over there in India or wherever, and they have been volunteering to do these experiments where they are isolated in a particular area, like a room or lab or whatever, and they go in there for months at a time. They don't eat, they don't defecate, they don't sweat, uh, and the list goes on and on and on. They live off
Well,
the energy.
they're obviously Cylons. No, I'm just
That,
joking.
Yeah, I
that,
know, right?
They
they,
like John Hopkins.
they live off the energy of the universe. We are surrounded by energy, and these guys know how to tap into it.
Yeah, it is a lot of secret energy that I haven't gotten into, but Rob, like I said, I'm watching video, smoke, and if my chair start to levitate, I'm gonna call you.
You definitely
There's a
email
reason
me.
why I can live off of beer and beer alone because I'm tapping into all that
I'll be
energy.
right back.
Right. You know.
No, I'm being facetious, but no. Tony's onto something there, and I do agree.
Right.
Like just like gravity shares dimensions, energy also does, and I think like I know Grimm's not here to talk further about it, but when he was talking about the electric universe and plasma, I do believe portions and bits and pieces of that and how it does fit into the whole model. Now, like I said, though, I don't need to figure it out. I know as much as I need now. Like I've seen with my own eyes and my mind's eye what's going on. Like and it's
Yeah, and that's for you personally. We all have our own
yeah.
personal like
Yeah.
path to take and different directions of like information that we like get and what we do with it and how we implement it. And we're all kind of niches in the same kind of
Yeah.
whatever like pattern, and
Mhm.
eventually we'll put the pattern together and be able to see the bigger picture. I wanted to go on to these documents real fast before I like end. I'm not gonna end like right away, but I just wanted to go into these before we end because like we keep going off and going into
That's
stuff.
true.
But I mean, it's good. I like the stuff you guys are talking about. I just want to get the stuff out before I
Before the
end this
door
time.
closes.
Yeah. So
Before
that's what the original idea
you
was.
guys are in FEMA camps anyway.
Yeah, before, I gotta get it out there. So, the evolution of strategic environment. Since the fall of Berlin Wall, the strategic environment and the corresponding threats to our national security have dramatically changed. No longer are the national priorities dominated by superpowers and nation states, but increasingly by loose networks of terrorists, transnational criminals, and other non-state actors within the human domain. As we have shifted into the new generation of warfare, the operational environment has evolved into a global operational environment favoring anonymous individuals who easily transform from citizen to enemy and back with limited logistical support or control. So that said, I just wanted to let you guys know, and whoever's listening, that this is a write-up from these people having to do with the mastering human domain. This lets you know what they mean by the human domain. Okay, so I just wanted to put that out there. So economic and financial globalization combined with exponential increased information access and mass communication have set the conditions for a single non-state actor, minimally resourced, capable of dramatic strategic impact, just as with Archduke Franz Ferdinand's identity operations. Geerty, Sproul, Murty, Moon, Boyd, and Castleman, assassin, Gavrilo, principal, actions of an anonymous individual now, more easily than any time in recorded history, can change the course of civilization. So in a way, they're saying basically the actors would be whoever they implement as their patsy, right?
Exactly.
And then, so to continue, today, strategic land power faces a complex and interconnected global operational environment characterized by a multitude of actors with unknown identities. This presents a wider range of possible threats than encountered before. Our operational environment has fewer well-defined friends and foes, with most actors presented along a continuum of unknown, partially known to known, throughout the range of military operations. Many found in the middle are susceptible to persuasion. Each of these actors has an agenda, often at odds with our objectives, those of other actors, and the goals of the existing political order. Besides a broad range of readily available conventional weapons, state and non-state actors can select from an array of affordable technologies, adapting them to create unexpected and lethal weapons. Social media enables even small groups to mobilize people and resources in ways that can quickly constrain or disrupt operations. This complex operating environment continuously evolves as conditions change and tests our ability to innovate and adapt. The complexity reconfirms the imperative to understand, plan, and employ identity processes and capabilities with land operations. Have anything to add to that, people out there? What do you think? Quite creepy,
Just
right?
taking it all in.
Yeah, yeah. And then what's crazy, when I was doing some of my earlier videos, I happened to be watching one a couple of days ago, and I was like, this guy doing the Ferguson indictment, this guy was reading, and he said actors. So I was on there like, he didn't say they was activists or whatever like that, but see, the Jade Helm information I did not have then, and I did not know the program of the actors was on this type of level until now. Now I get what he was saying about them throwing water bottles and creating all different kind of havoc, because you were just talking about those people that was going to be reckless during the time of the Ferguson protests.
Yeah, they would refer to us as actors, basically,
Yeah,
because
that's
we're
just a,
communicating to each other.
yeah. Excuse me, but that's just another term for nigga. I just like to keep it real.
Okay. And then, so, to my understanding, this seems like they're saying that anyone they deem as like flagged as like something they're going to focus on becomes the actor. It's not like the role players of like say a scenario drill, right? Which also is out there. I don't know if you guys have come across this, but there's been some sort of leaked. What is that called? Like someone had a phone or something, and they were in one of the
Yeah, they're all
what's it,
gone.
what do you call that?
I mean, except for what I need. Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. So basically, it was like not a seminar, but like a course training for these people, and I want to get this out there to the world or whatever who is listening. If they haven't seen this, you should see this. Look it up. It's basically a crisis acting course for Jade Helm, 15. So what they actually said their scenario drill is, according to this, is there's going to be a hurricane, and a plane gets caught in the hurricane. Due to the wind forces, it pushes the plane into a nuclear power plant, and the people that are role playing are supposed to go lay on a pile, a rubble of pile rubble or a rubble pile, and then they get picked up from there. So they don't really know about the scenario. They just think that it's already set up for them before they get there.
Episode of Lost.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. But the whole way they explain the casualties and who they go to, and they're supposed to be tagged with a red or a green tag.
Oh
It's
yeah.
very strange. It's very strange. So, like, definitely check that out. I mean, basically, it made me think that they're going to create that scenario using HARP. They'll just create the hurricane. They'll have the plane set up ahead of time, right? It could even be that same plane that disappeared, for all we know.
Exactly. They
And
bring
then
that back.
yeah, they bring that back to use it as a so-called weapon or whatever, and then that hits the some nuclear power plant, which that. But the creepiest thing about this was the nuclear power plant creates a chemical exposure, right?
Yep.
So that creates the whole implementation for putting quarantine zones and all that, wearing the gear with the gas masks, and then making sure that there's nobody going in and out of certain regions.
They're trying to change our biological makeup.
Yeah, and then getting us used to that formulation, like the whole Ebola scare, or the whole Ebola, or whatever you want to call it, that crap.
Right, right.
So getting
Well, I think personally that was data collection and retention right there in a big way. I mean,
yeah, agreed.
First off, they could completely monitor an outbreak scenario without there being any real threat, and at the same time test the psychological attributes of all parties involved from coast to coast on each continent, and also monitor aviation patterns of immigration and emigration. They were able to study so many aspects just with one fucking scenario. It's insane.
And racial tension, because they said they saved the white guy, but they let the black guy die. Remember that? The black guy?
Exactly.
Right.
Which focuses on the race war process.
Right.
Yeah.
But they all had on lime green.
It's like they casted him for 1950 Star Trek. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Divide and conquer.
And they had that green, and it was all about that green shirt that he was wearing. It like focused everywhere. Jeff C. reported on that.
They was color coding everything.
Well, they did it a long time ago too, and you know what? It didn't surface until much later. But when they went to Africa, when the Red Cross went to Africa, and they basically administered AIDS in a hepatitis B vaccine. I mean, anyone who knows anything about it knows that this is exactly what they did, and yet it didn't come down as a race hate crime until much later. Whether it was or not, it was probably more or less a biological test on a non-interfered with society to test its effects in a tiny localized group. But regardless of that, it would turn into like Dr. Boyd Graves. He's African. And he pushed the envelope on the whole AIDS was a genocidal weapon. Now, whether it was or not is not the argument here. The point is that it created an irritant. It created a situation by which people would lose their objectivity and bring up race hatred.
And that could create a lot of data for them to track at that point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It stimulates the program.
So, Robert, are you saying it got loose? They lost control of it? Is that what you're saying about the AIDS thing?
No, they didn't lose control. No, they didn't lose control. They did exactly what they set out to do. They did it again with Ebola, but the first wave of Ebola that hit in Zaire, they were able to take the disease, monitor its effects on a localized group of people, get rid of it either by burning the town to the ground. And then later they would either standardize or weaponize or both, because these things are proven by looking at patents. There's patents for each of these diseases and their respective cures. Lots of research has gone into figuring this out. And all I can say though is, like, they call it standardization for lab procedures. They say, oh well, it's patented so that we could have a standard. I guess you could say a control group that could be utilized to study it further. You can't fucking have a control group for a retrocombatant virus because it changes from generation to generation. Yeah. So it's bullshit on its own legs.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Or you can just Magic Johnson the whole thing.
Well, how come he ain't dead yet then?
Exactly. Everybody else dead and gone.
Every single person in the AIDS belt of Africa who received that hepatitis B vaccine is, and without exception, dead. Now, Boyd Graves, he went on to say that he got AIDS, he was administered AIDS at one point, and that he was also given cure. Now, I don't know if he was on his way out to Crazyville by the time he got discredited, because he did get discredited, but he said he was in contact with one of the partners of Dr. Gallo, the guy who was originally on the I say originally because there was some feuding between him, and he actually lost a Nobel Peace Prize to a French guy who, whose biomaterial he used in order to create the patent. But anyway, apparently Boyd Graves was in contact with Gallo, and Gallo's assistant, I should say, who gave him the cure. So now he's cured of it. Now, I have no idea about the authenticity of his claims because, again, he was discredited in the medical community and no longer has a career. In fact, it's even hard to find. You can't even find him on the internet anymore. Like, you can find his old stuff and his rants, but it all, again, seems to be very race originated. Like, his meaning or his reason, sorry, for trying to define these things is race driven. So again, it feeds that racial tension model. You know what I'm saying?
Which could be a huge psyop.
In itself, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A giant psyops.
When you guys are finished, I want to continue reading this because it's more information on how you understand what the human domain is to them, what they mean by it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm done. I just thought that's a great example of how data mining can be achieved and the different categories of information that you can garner from it. Because, like, going to contemporary times with this new Ebola scare, this is Ebola 2.03 Mark 5 beta. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is a new improved patent that they're working out, if it even exists. It's as provable as nothing because they cured a guy. Meanwhile, we're led to believe that lots of other people are dying. Well, apparently, if you
it
can
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you can get out on your own 2 feet.
Right?
Yeah.
Supposedly Nina Fan was like coming out like spring water, you know, like she just came out of a spa.
Yeah, but they let the red shirt die, and by red shirt I mean black guy. You know.
Yeah.
Star Trek reference. You know what I mean, though?
You should say green shirt, considering he had the green shirt.
Yeah, I was gonna get sarcastic. I wanted people to follow me, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's the new red shirt. The green shirt's the new red shirt.
That's funny. Yeah.
Green is the new red.
Green is the new red. There it is.
Robert, you hilarious.
All right, so I'm going to continue. Friend or foe, and this is essentially how they figure out who is the enemy, right? and then this is going to be implemented into the Jade system. Although it doesn't talk about that at all in this. How do we distinguish friend from foe? How do we identify those among the population who may sell us bread in the daylight and plant improvised explosive device IEDs at night? There are no easy means of distinguishing human threats from the law-abiding populace. Identity as a word has several definitions, and its applications are many. Depending on the focus of an organization or mission set, Webster's dictionary defines identity as sameness of essential or generic character in different instances. Within the human domain, it is the unique human identity of each individual in which we are interested. See, even right there, they're telling us they want each individual.
Yeah, that's why they listen to our social media chats. After a big crisis, they collect the response videos that we make, the way people respond to it. So yeah, that's how they're gonna be able to identify who's friend or foe by the way we react. Fuck that. If you going off, yeah, they're gonna put you in a special. They're gonna put a red tag on you. A red shirt.
Like I was saying, they've already got your mailboxes marked, so they know who the post office. They know who's who.
Right.
I don't have a mailbox. I mean,
There you go.
I got one like right outside my door, but I mean, it's not like one across like in a rural or like a country area. They have like usually roads, and then there's the mailbox at the end of the road.
Yeah, well, my homing pigeon just got back a day late, and he's acting funny.
Hey, you guys! I got mailboxes I can see right out my window, and none of them have any tags on them.
I didn't mean physical tags. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I mean, I flagged in the computer. Like, they're.
Oh, they're going and spray painting.
Hell yeah.
According to some footage I've seen, they're actually going and spray painting in front of people's houses, like red paint, like right.
Oh, there you go. And that's actually in Professor Doom's video that he put out in the last couple of days. Actually, there's a document regarding Jade Helm. In fact, it's kind of interesting because it kind of goes alongside all of this. I've got it queued up, actually, I think. Do I? Yeah, I do. Yeah.
You want to show it?
Yeah, sure. Hang on. Let me just full screen that. And then I'll share that so bitch.
Alright, I got you on.
Okay, I'm going to share that. I'm going to share it with the rest of the link with the rest of you guys too in a minute. Look at myself here. All right. This is from Professor D's video. Yeah, guys on one.
Oh yeah, I saw this one.
Hot system law orders to be reviewed by command.
You're cutting out. You're cutting out, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen. Yeah. Hmm?
You're cutting out. So like, hold a second and then go again.
I'm gonna share.
Okay, go ahead.
Hang on. I'm also going to share it in case I cut out again. There it is in the side chat in case I go again.
Yeah, I saw this. It was very interesting. He said he didn't know if it was real or whatever, if it's fully done, but they look pretty close to the other ones from what I've saw, the ones that are unclassified or declassified or whatever, the ones that were put out in March.
Yeah, and this is it. Yeah, under the system information, they may be protected with these labels. Personally identifying information such as passports, social security numbers, to documents protected by the attorney-client privilege. With martial law, this will be green and only under command. Those persons determined to be enemy combatants are subsequently sent to a centralized holding facility where a military screening team reviews all available information regarding each detainee to again review whether the individual is an enemy combatant. With the assistance of other U.S. government officials, including military lawyers, intelligence officers, and federal law enforcement officials, and quantum tunneling machines. Sorry, I just threw that in there. And considering all relevant information, including facts from capture and detention, again, how you react and respond to being detained, right? The threat the individual poses, his intelligence value, and any law enforcement interest. Can we turn this guy, you know? The military screening team assesses whether the detainee is an enemy combatant and should continue to be detained, and whether transfer to Arizona Sedona is warranted. I'd like to see what's going on down there, and not firsthand, obviously, but there could be some pretty fiendish stuff going on down there. Next page. After the screening team makes this assessment, a general officer designated by the combatant commander reviews a central holding area screening team's recommendation. When determining whether a detainee should be transferred to Reese Air Force Base, the combatant commander considers a threat posed by the detainee, his seniority within hostile forces, possible intelligence that may be gained from the detainee, possible law of war violations committed by the detainee. That's an interesting one. Like, how many truth vids does it take to be considered a war criminal now? You know?
How many what?
Really?
How many
truther videos does it take to be considered a war criminal under their rules? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good question.
Anyway, where was I here? War violations committed by the detainee and any other relevant factors. DoD officials in Washington review those proposed for transfer to Reese Air Force Base prior to the transfer. I don't believe any of that. I do not believe that Washington will be making those decisions. I think those decision makers are either going to be programmed like email sent like by an AI machine,
Right.
or it's going to be done at the satellite locations because they already. That's why legislations have been put through Congress. These executive orders here, Parliament. I mean, this is why they've been pushing these things so that they can make these satellite decisions. They can be judge, jury, and executioner right on the spot, or else they wouldn't have to go to Washington. That's why they passed these bills. Anyway,
A quick way to kill us.
Yeah. Anyway, they say an internal DoD review panel, including legal advisors. Yeah, they'll probably have some muppet who they turned as like to appeal to your kinder senses and say they're going to defend you, but we already know that they probably won't, or at least not do a very good job. Anyway, what we got here? Now I'm just, these are my suppositions. I'm just throwing it in my own 2 cents. That's my opinion of it. But all available information is considered in those reviews, including information submitted by other governments or obtained from the detainees themselves. In the event that, and I think that means either under duress or if they bribe you. But in the event that enemy combatants are transferred to Reese Air Force Base, now, see, they got these different bases already that anyway. Immediately upon their arrival at Reese, they're interviewed and further assessments are made based on relevant information, including detainee interviews, U.S. intelligence, and law enforcement sources. Each enemy combatant detainee at Reese also undergoes an extensive assessment of the threat he poses. This threat assessment process is used to determine whether, notwithstanding his status as an enemy combatant, should remain detained in control of DoD. Threat assessments of each detainee are made by an integrated team of interrogators, and they put interrogators first, analysts, behavioral scientists, and regional experts. Those threat assessments are provided to the Commander U.S. Southern Command for review and recommendation. Again, the Southern Command then forwards its recommendations to an interagency committee in Washington, Google, and includes law enforcement, intelligence, and defense representatives. That interagency committee makes an assessment and recommendation. The Secretary of Defense or his designee then decides whether transfer of the detainee to the custody of another government, release of that individual, or his continued detention in DoD control is appropriate. Yeah. Words, thoughts?
Hey Rob, I was just thinking, right? Have you ever thought about why this new information is here on the planet? And second, is we experiencing the information, or is the information experiencing us? Are we testing the info, or are we being tested? Have they hacked into us with this new information? Because it seems to change who we are in our thinking.
Well, that's a great question, actually. Chicken or the egg? Well, I'd have to say probably column A and a little from column B, because thing is they wouldn't be able to do it to us if we weren't able to see it and do it back. The only thing is they got more toys and more tools to do it to us. So, it's, I mean, I think it's well within our ability to take it back, but I mean, it's a long, hard road with a lot of hard calls to be made along the way, and it's not going to be pretty.
Because I was thinking, could we be being set up mentally, because this could be a gathering or a following of people that's going to be separated from everybody else, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And this could be a trap, because you got a lot of great thinkers on here, and we have all exposed a lot of shit and too much shit.
Well, that's just it. But the thing is that if we already realize that and know it, like, this is being monitored right now.
Right.
If you think it's not, it's being monitored right now, and it's probably being recorded. It's probably going to be analyzed.
Probably is just because I put Jade Helm in front.
Probably, yeah.
Right.
Probably did it because your name's Fear Porn.
No, I'm sure that doesn't really matter.
But you know what I mean. I don't want to bring up the subject that we all love, but this is why certain people get assigned to us and try to make us talk about other things, you know. And these are all divide and conquer tactics, and they're very, very good at it. I've chosen now to ignore it more than anything. I'm not trying to get directly involved. I don't want to offend anyone. I mean, there was a point where I got angry. I made some bad calls, but guess what? They're counting on that. And that's what they think I'm going to do next,
According
you know.
to
And
DJ, it's all about it takes our negative elements and
Yes.
makes it into algorithms.
Yes, exactly. And you know, like I choose to be. I don't always fall into that category. I try to be as unpredictable as possible, whether it's my geographical movements, or my nature, or what. Like and those who harp on certain points and keep on harping on it are trying to prove a certain predictable nature. Again, this ties into the AI and the predictability matrix. I mean, the more unpredictable you can try to be, maybe you're falling into their plans and being just as predictable as they originally thought. But who knows? That's neither here nor there. Point is that
I got a way around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can create a fake you, and then have them have the AI follow that fake you. Therefore, it creates a fake persona and a fake algorithm, and it doesn't really know where you are.
That'd be very difficult to do, I believe.
A surrogate, right?
Well,
I mean, you have cash to do it. But
Well, for instance, I have a persona on Facebook, right? But that persona on Facebook's not me. That's just the persona I want people to think I am.
yeah,
here's
but
the thing.
they got you nailed down right to your MAC address, man. It's all the same shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then they can figure it out. I mean, pretty much when I'm rolling on the road, I've got a ghost phone. It doesn't tie back to my name. It does tie back to my location. So if I'm having a YouTube chat, then they know where that guy is, and then they'll remember me for next time. But that notwithstanding, I've just gone and said, fuck it. Here's my name. Here's my location. You want to know anything? Hey, try to dox me. Like I just wear.
That's what I did. Fuck them. I don't move around too much. If I'm right here, fuck them.
And I choose to not participate in most of their bullshit. Some of it I have to participate in order to get through my daily grind. But as much as possible, I do not participate in most of their little functions.
Have you seen Terminator Genesis yet?
No.
Okay, well, at the beginning, it really shows that it's in 2029. It takes place in 2029, and that's not even that far away. And that's the day, basically, when that happens. That's the day that Skynet goes down. But that's also the day that Skynet sends the Terminator back in time. Do you see? It's all connected. So when John Connor is the one that breaks out all of the people from the FEMA camps or whatnot, it actually shows people being in FEMA camp type of scenarios, like except they're way advanced. They're like laser beams you can't go past. You know what I mean? And he breaks them out, so they become the resistance. That's how John Connor does it. That's how it happens. It's basically a long time frame, and then in the end, John Connor destroys Skynet, but Skynet's ahead of the game because he knew that it was going to happen. So therefore, that's how he sends somebody back in time, and the whole thing happened. And then they send Reese back in time as well. But there's another implement to that I don't want to ruin for you in the story.
10-4.
Yeah, fuck the story. Share the knowledge.
Hey, I haven't seen a movie. I would download it now, but I have crappy bandwidth as it is, so I don't want to.
One thing I can share, and I don't think this destroys anything as far as the. Although I notice it's being very secret. I know, like when I went through the Genesis, the visuals or whatever, it won't show any of this. But basically, I said this earlier on, I think to you, Rob, before we went on, that Skynet in the movie is a app.
Is it what?
It's an app.
Oh, okay.
So it's an app that connects everything to everything. And it goes live at a certain time in like October 2017.
Man, we got that right now, man. Stuff is old.
Is that in reference to the movie or?
No, yeah, that's in reference to the movie. I know it sounds like real life, right?
Yeah,
But I mean,
it
no, it's
is.
it's the movie.
Okay.
But
All right.
what that said to me was that they're basically telling you in 2017 in October they're going to do something with Jade that's going to connect everything to everything and something associated with an app.
Yeah, that's because
It's,
that's what I've heard that for some reason they have to tell us what they're going to do, but they do it in plain
legally,
sight and kind of
legally they
confuse
have
it.
to say it, right? They got to say it to clear the conscience.
Yeah,
But it
it's
goes
called
back,
lesser magic.
yeah, it goes back to what you said earlier about the chess game. They playing chess and they strategically putting the pieces out. So like I said, those that know the end of the game, right? Because I'm from a home front video game perspective. When I saw the shit playing out with Kim Jong Un father dying in 2013 and the son taking over and Hillary Clinton wearing the red dress just from the opening of the video game. So I made a video like home front has been fulfilled. So it's like if it's already on a video game, if it's already on some artificial intelligence, what makes us think that it ain't a real reality, but just not turned all the way on until they have a crisis? Because you need a situation in order to bring in the people. Now, when we had the riots, they took over down in the basement of Mondawmin where the security officers was. It was nothing but high-tech military black trucks pulling up in there with briefcases, right? So they was bringing in that high shit to monitor all of the cell phones because the cell phones during the riots were tapped because they wanted to know what was going to go on, what was going to get burnt down. It was a pre-crime drill that they was running. So, it all ties in. You just got to wait till it comes to a city near you, and then you'll give a fuck.
Eric, you talking about what took place down in Ferguson? Is that what you're referring to?
What took place in Baltimore?
Oh, in Baltimore. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because as long as it's overseas, Canada or whatever like that, you be like, yeah. Wait till it come to your city, then you be like, oh shit, let me call my Canada people. Like, no, you should have been called them when they was hurting.
Yeah.
Well, that brings to mind a video game that was out in like 2005. I'm trying to find it so I could show you guys. Hold on a second, because I had it in my information. Just talk amongst yourselves while I find it.
A fear porn. You posted a link up here. Looks like Trade Arc, Trade Doc Army M.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a PDF.
yeah, it's a PDF.
Okay. Never mind. Is it way big? I'll go ahead and download it.
No, it's not that big.
All
It's
right.
very interesting. Check it out.
Okie doke.
God, I've got so many things. I have a hard time finding my stuff.
All we got's time.
Okay, it was a information. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Shattered Union. That's what it's called. Um, I'll just bring. This is the Wikipedia of it. Shattered Union 2005. Now, it's creepy because it actually shows stuff like we're dealing with now, like military on the streets and everything. I'll show you a little visual of it because I have it saved somewhere in my information here. It was actually Truth Media Revolution that found it and reported it. Here it is.
Hey, are we open for discussion here while he's looking up what he's looking up?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as we stay on topic though, because we kind of did a lot of like mega
So look-
turns
look,
off topic.
Here's martial law showing up.
Okay, I'll let that one go then. It's a little off topic.
We can come back to it though, I'm sure.
All right.
I want to show something specific here. You can notice they're throwing out little. Remember, this was in 2005. They're throwing out little things in the future. This is 2012, right?
Right.
Okay, there's predicted second term thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you see that as 2013 something.
Trevor Quinn. Yeah, man, it's old stuff. It's old stuff now.
On January 28th, 2013.
And this may not happen in your city. It may be happening overseas, but just like on the video game, or just like on a movie, it may not be local yet.
Does that day look familiar? Do you remember? It's Boston Marathon.
Right.
Oh, I've seen something about this.
That's the Boston Marathon date right there.
Wow. Too much.
Okay, so now you have Texas, right? We already know about the Jade Helm connection to Texas. Declares sovereignty.
We damn sure got that.
Okay, so you see what's going on here? This is exactly what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
On a drill type of level. So that's all I wanted to show you guys that.
Yeah. From 2005.
Predicted way back in 2005.
Yeah. Programmed way back in 2005.
Exactly.
Manifested now.
Right. I wanted to go back into the information on how they figure out who's the enemy in their own mind versus a friendly, right? So we understand that in the future when we are dealing with this. So how we differentiate one person from another. Associations with other events, materials, individuals, and networks become additional pieces of information used in the identification process. The individual's identity is to which we attribute his or her activities and whether they are friendly, neutral, or hostile intent. Additionally, understanding the culture of an individual leads to a better understanding of their beliefs. These pieces of identity information, together with patterns of life, enable analysts to provide predictive intelligence with regards to future activities. Providing vetted, friendly, neutral, hostile, and unknown identities allows the land force commanders to select the appropriate actions necessary to winning the clash of wills. These actions may encompass the combination of operations in order to compel adversaries and innocent populations to act in a specific way. So you do see how that relates to Jade, right?
Yeah.
Without them saying it directly, if you understand what we were talking about earlier, that totally is telling us that. Especially where they're saying friendly, neutral, hostile, and unknown. That's exactly on the map that they sent.
Yeah.
So in response to these complex realities, our national and strategic priorities have transformed, favoring new approaches to traditional emerging challenges such as homeland defense, whole of government, partner engagement, and building partner capacity. The United States government has established organizations, processes, and procedures for maintaining, enhancing, and employing a national which lists of known or suspected terrorists for national security purposes. So there they admit they have a list right there. A host of capabilities focused on identifying, characterizing, and screening individuals have been developed and employed across the force. The shifts in national strategy have seismic implications for Department of Defense and strategic land power. Oh, I'm supposed to be showing this. Sorry.
No worries.
I didn't realize. Okay. This requires a fundamental change in our traditional approaches to land operations, one focused not solely on nation states, but also significantly on the individuals within the human domain. In this age of complex environments, where our enemies blend into the populace until given the opportunity to emerge and do us harm, we must use every tool at our disposal to eliminate their anonymity, yeah. Anonymity,
yeah.
Anonymity, thank you. To separate them from population from which they fight. In the past, we would say to find a needle within the haystack was difficult because the needle was small, yet it looked different from the hay and success was probable. However, when discussing the human domain and our many similarities, identity operations must be capable of finding one individual who looks very much like another individual's, i.e. the adversarial needle within the stack of needles. It is the identity process that facilitates the discovery of those adversaries. The human domain lives on land. Therefore, strategic land power has more opportunities than the Navy and Air Force to interact with the population. It is land forces that hold the land operating environment. And I think that has to do with when they're talking about, I mean, this is my opinion, those Walmarts that closed down. The land bases, you see what I mean? Human domain lives on, I'm sorry, I already read that. Many of our core missions have already been inaccessibly altered for the foreseeable future, and several new responsibilities over and above the traditional requirements for land operations have been added to the list of missions DoD will be expected to execute in the future operations. Our capability to effectively discover, resolve, and exploit the identity of individuals encountered in the battle space will be an essential factor in our ability to successfully execute these missions. Identify activities. I don't think we need to go into all that. Oh yeah, then I wanted to go into this one. That's right. So this is Weapon Data Link Network ACTD. I kind of went into it earlier when you were kind of going in and out, Rob. Integrated data link capability into weapons. Set stage for weapon integration into network-centric warfare. Now, network-centric warfare, from what I understand, is like Skynet, connecting everything to everything, but only on the level of military.
Yeah. Part of the, I mean, this is not. It's not. It's actually right on target. Actually, part of what was happening with the EU and NATO during the whole Crimean crisis. We won't get into why Russia went into Crimea, but that's a whole other topic for another day. One of the things that were being done was tying in NATO's anti-missile defense shield system into the EU's. That was a direct reaction to what took place in Crimea. Now, for other reasons. Now, we won't get into those because it kind of goes to left field a bit. But yeah, it's totally part of it. They want to network the weapons. They have to have the weapons networked. And like I said before, when DARPA created the internet back in 1957, when they started to roll out the first few nodes of the ARPANET, that was exactly what they had in mind. That's what an information processor does. It receives packets, it sends packets, it denies packets. And it can also be reprogrammed. on the fly by its own system. Now, when I say by its own system, I'm talking about the system of human operators at the time. But those
Not
are just
anymore.
not anymore, because AI, it can reprogram itself on the fly given a base set of circumstances.
Yeah. So like I wanted to show kind of like visually what it represents, because basically they're saying these air things are connected to the land things, are connected to the bases, are connected to the vehicles, are connected to the people, are connected to the boats. So everything's connected to everything in a sense.
Yeah.
And once they turn it, allow that artificial intelligence to have control over everything, who's to say it doesn't go against us?
Yeah,
Well,
no doubt. Have y'all
who's
seen
to say it? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
yeah, just one quick thing. Have y'all seen the GE commercial where the guy's riding on his bicycle, then he jump on the train, and the train lights go out, and then the computer say, "Don't worry about it. The train lights is gonna come back on," because she guided him through some earplug. He looked like he trying to escape something, but he just using all the new General Electric um, trains, automobiles, and cell phone technology. But that's gonna be your local stuff. That they're gonna turn down. They control all the grids, and GE gonna control everything. Matter of fact, they had the Smith from the Matrix doing the commercial for them.
Yeah. Well, look at this. It says find, fix, track, target, and engage. Netted weapons, joint surface warfare. What needs to be done? Incorporate the weapon data link message into ISR. Expands targeting chain. Enables moving target and engagement. Layers in combat ID for friendly versus hostile. So they're basically saying they can implement Jade II can implement a control on its own if it deems a threat necessary.
Yeah.
And
correction, guys.
acts as
I said
execution.
57. I said 57. It's actually 1967. I made an error there. I misspoke.
Okay. So 10 years off.
But yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and I was just gonna say.
Rob, check.
This is on.
Rob, before you go, I put this on the link on the right if you wanted to look at this yourself.
I will. I don't see it.
Scroll up.
Okay, I might have already pulled this one up then, because I've got all of yours in tabs, everything. Oh wait, maybe not that one. Here, I'll grab it. Copy link address. I was just gonna say, here's a part of the DARPA initiative when it came to the internet. Don't need the screen shared. Let's go down through here. Okay. Here we go. Here, yeah, I just found it. Yeah.
2007. I just realized it's 2007. It's old information, so therefore, like they've already upped the data by now. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah. Okay, I just found the this thing about the ARPANET. It says after I'm not screen sharing it right now. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna read it out. Yeah. Okay. Okay, the ARPANET was not started to create a command and control system that would survive a nuclear attack, as many now claim to build. And I've even done that in the past. Until I'm going to be putting out a video directly on this, so that way I'm not going to get into too much detail. But it says to build such a system was clearly a major military need, but it was not ARPA's mission to do this. In fact, we would have been severely criticized had we tried. Rather, the ARPANET came out of our frustration that there were only a limited number of large, powerful research computers in the country, and that made many research investigators who should have access to them were geographically separated from them. And then it says the ARPANET was operated by the military during the 2 decades of its existence. Now, going back up a couple of paragraphs, this ties right into the automation aspect of it. ARPANET incorporated distribution computation and frequent recomputation of routing tables. This was a major contribution to the survivability of the ARPANET in the face of significant destruction, even by nuclear attack. Such auto-routing was technically quite challenging to construct at the time. The fact that it was incorporated into the early ARPANET made many believe that this had been a design goal. Now,
Sorry.
yeah, no worries. Basically, there's a big debate on why they created the internet in the first place. Now, if we go one step further and actually go and look up DARPA, and like, I don't like going to Wikipedia for any information. However, sometimes they're not careful enough, and when they're trying to hide stuff, they put it right there in front of our noses, thinking we're not going to look, or but they do have written down their actual goals here. I'm just finding their history. Automated. Okay, I don't want recent. Where were you? Unless it's changed since I looked at it.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
1958 to 1965.
After you're done, I wanted
Where
to let this level 9 person speak about the Tuesday presentation details, because that's very interesting about the Jade II.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll do that after you're done.
No worries. I'm just looking for where's the active past projects? I might not even be on the right page. Trying to speed read here. Where were you? Sorry about this, guys. Here we go. DARPA supported the evolution of the ARPANET, first wide area packet switching network, packet radio network. This is where, remember, we were talking about different technologies, Eric, when you were talking about how learning to use like all aspects of technology that we have. Well, they were there for every major step, and this is like part of my point before, saying that everything's been utilized or developed by DARPA in the first place. And we are always getting the scraps. Like when we have sayings like, "Oh, they're 10 years more advanced than the best shit we have on." Well, it's true, but guess what? That's because DARPA is working on it already.
Right.
There's a lot more to it, but that's the basic gist of it. Now, yeah, the first wide area packet switching network, packet radio network, packet satellite network, and ultimately the internet and research in the artificial intelligence fields of speech recognition and signal processing. Shaky the robot. Yeah, they're going to throw in the painting monkey there. DARPA also funded the development of Douglas Engelbert's NLS computer system and the mother of all demos, and the Aspen movie map, which was probably the first hypermedia system and an important precursor to virtual reality. Let's not get me started on VR and creating dimensions within dimensions, because I can go on for ages about that. That's actually part of the rabbit hole I'm researching right now. But you understand where I'm going with all this. But yeah, I mean, like, it's been part of their design initiative from day one, guys. DARPA's been taking everything that we do in every way that they can, getting better at collecting information and getting us to react to give them more information, so that way they can control. It looks like almost the part about behavioral sciences has disappeared from this page. I haven't been here for a little while. Oh wait, it's right here. This allowed ARPA to, okay, by the way, ARPA and DARPA are the same thing. DARPA, the D in DARPA stands for defense, and every few years ARPA has changed its name to DARPA when they become defense oriented. It's been DARPA now for a long time. If you go back and you look through the phases of evolution of our technology, we have been in different Cold Wars. There have been false flags to mark and denote certain points when that D gets added. And that's when like right after Operation Paperclip, they added the D to DARPA, or to ARPA rather. So anyway, but yeah, here's this allowed ARPA to concentrate its efforts on the Project Defender, Defense Against Ballistic Missiles, Project Vela, Nuclear Test Detection, and Project Agile, Counterinsurgency Research and Development. Counterinsurgency, fellas, they've been on this since day effing one. Their counterinsurgency is us. We are the insurgents in their eyes. They want to figure out how they can detail out as much information as possible and get this information into a system by which they can process, analyze, and we're back to the pre-crime subject, but figure out what we're going to do before we do it. Now, that's counterinsurgency. That doesn't mean respond to an insurgent. That means stop it. And to begin work on computer processing. Oh, yeah, sorry. So counterinsurgency, research and development programs, and to begin work on computer processing, behavioral sciences, and material sciences. The Defender and Agile programs form the foundation of DARPA sensor, surveillance, and directed energy research and development, particularly in the study of radar, infrared sensing, and X-ray, gamma ray detection. And of course, ARPA at this point, 1959, played an early role in transit, also called NavSat, a predecessor to the Global Positioning System. Fast forward to 1959, when a joint effort between DARPA and the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory began to fine-tune the early explorers' discoveries. Transit, sponsored by the Navy and developed under the leadership of Dr. Richard Kirshner at Johns Hopkins, was the first satellite positioning system. So they've been working like this stuff has been in development since day one, and that's like tracking. Some would say that it's used for warfare. Well, yeah, of course it is. I mean, it would be silly to not utilize it for that purpose. But if you can track something, then you have positional information that you can broadcast to another party. So they have to basically solve problem A before they can get to problems B, C, D, and E down the line, right? Mm-hmm. So this is where positioning systems come into play. And they wanted to do this from day one. You merge that with behavioral sciences, AI, an almost aware packet rerouting system, an automated packet rerouting system. I mean, you basically got yourself like, and this we're only in 1967 to 1970 at this point. Like, guys, like anybody who thinks that this system is ours is completely mistaken and has their head in the clouds, because this is much bigger than any of us even realize.
It's the way it was designed.
Exactly. From day one. When you said, not you, the general, the editorial you, all of you out there, when you make a statement like, oh, they're 10 years more advanced than we even see, oh, you're way off the mark. 20, 30, 40 years. and they're there now. They're right. Probably, they got AI watching this show right now, knowing who's going to be the last to log out.
Right, exactly. They're like making bets. So
yeah, guys.
I wanted to show you this Tuesday presentation details thing. I put the link in the thing on the right if you want to grab it and like follow along. I'm gonna have Level 9 News DJ kind of explain it a lot better than me, and then you can follow along if you want. You got it?
I can see your little screen there. It's not very blown up though. Now, let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, I can make it bigger. Look at that shit. Or you can make it bigger.
Did you grab the link?
Hang on a second here. I was trying to watch you. I thought you were sharing it, so I was watching yours.
Oh, I'm gonna share it as well, but I wanted you to be able to follow along with her.
Right, gotcha.
Because it's hard to see it in this screen.
Gotcha. Okay, that's at DoD CCRP Corp. Today's presentation details?
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So I'm going to start this, and then we'll just listen along.
Oh.
What's up?
I'm just looking at the. I'm comparing the Wikipedia entry with what you showed me here.
Okay.
Hang on. There is it here. Tuesday presentation details. Oh, the command and control aspect of it, and I look back at the Wikipedia. See, this is one of the reasons why I don't like to use Wikipedia as a source, because they're talking about a debate. Obviously, there's no debate if they're talking about command and control here.
Right. I think
You know what I'm saying?
Wikipedia is created by Jade.
I think so. I think you're right. Like I said, though, like I mean, I don't like to use it as a research. I like to do it more as a confirmation when you read between the lines that something is. I don't think they. I think they think we're dumb as nails.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're trying to
And
figure
we
out.
think that's the new dictionary or something.
For most of us, and I think I said it earlier when one of the aspects of information analysis, for any combatant or possible combatant, they look at their possible intelligence levels. So I mean, who is disseminating, who's inferring, and who's referring? You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. Like who are the thinkers, right? Obviously, I've got them fooled because they
Essentially, anybody could put it up.
I got everyone fooled because I'm a useless, brain damaged alcoholic, right? So I'm no threat.
You're right. It's a good point. Okay, I'm gonna continue. If you have
Yeah,
something to say, just let me know and I'll pause it.
Yeah, go for it. I don't have audio for you, so I'm really just I'm just kind of reading. So just let me know when you're done, and I'll tell you where I went.
You mean you can't hear it?
No, I cannot.
Oh well, that's pointless then. I thought you could hear it. So when I have it going, you can't hear that. No, you can't hear that then, huh?
No, I can't hear any audio.
Well, how the hell? That's weird. I thought I had it to where I could hear the audio. Maybe I have to take off my headphones. That's probably it. Okay. Can you hear it now?
Yes.
This is a very technical part. I've read through it already. I'm not going to go into explaining all the acronyms and everything in here, but it's an important part of this program. User perspectives on design logic and military training simulators, i.e. holographic battlefield displays, the human terrain of Neptune-centric operations. And again, they're discussing the edge organizations, and I really think you should explore that. Experimentation with network-enabled joint tactical training. And here's all the references to the Jade project in this paper. The human dimension of networks. This involves the development of the human terrain system.
So she's going over key things.
Here under
And I want you to
design
focus on those.
centric applications, it states relatively little attention is being paid to strategies for consuming and exploit. Wait a minute. Relatively little attention is being paid to strategies for consuming and exploiting data effectively and efficiently. New software platform capabilities and experimentation campaign for Elicit. Elicit is an experimental laboratory for investigating information sharing, collaboration, and trust. And if you haven't seen it yet, go watch the report I did on Jade Helm, 21st Century Policing. The documents presented there, the 1033 program and Executive Order 13684 reference this extensively. Efficient experimental design tools for exploring command and control organizational structures references the radical transformations to the structures that will be necessary due to the information revolution and the changing global environment. The failed thermostat, the illusion of control in an information-rich age. The concept of command and control is central to modern warfare. Command is a legal and behavioral term referring to a designated individual leader's responsibility and accountability for everything the leader's unit of command does and does not do. Well, a network-centric warfare platform takes the individual decision-making out of the equation. The system is making the decisions for you.
Okay. So you get it?
Yeah. Sorry, I just killed my mic there. Totally. Network centric, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of like being able to cut off any limb that is not useful. You know, it's like but the body still goes on. If you understand what I mean, it's by compartmentalizing, however, giving each component its own functionality. So if it were cut off from the body, it could still operate on its own. So I mean, if you have this level of either it's autonomy or self-governance at every level, then what will happen is, like, let's just assume that the humans are in control. We don't know. But I mean, if there's a complete lack of humans, then the system is self-autonomous and will still be able to fire back information to its central hub, unless in the event it's disconnected. Welcome to being Borg.
Yeah. So I want you to check that out and then get back to me when you can.
I'm going to check this out in more
quite
detail.
Extensive. I'm still reading it, and
Yeah,
there's a
this
lot
looks like
to take from that to do further your research. Like, 'cause I'm taking information I take from that, and then I research that, and I go back to it. And that's kind of like where I'm at right now. With that said, I'm going to end the broadcast today. I just wanted to get all that out there before I did. And do you have any final thoughts for today?
Yes, I feel like you're a teacher. You just gave me homework.
Kinda.
No, I'm just joking. I want to thank you for letting me come on today. This is something I enjoy talking about on all levels, and I'd like to just send my love to all and send much love to the live chat. And hey, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
Awesome, you too, man. And thank you, people in the chat. Thank you, people listening and viewers. And we will see you next time. We will be back next Thursday at 12 in the afternoon or so. Standard Pacific time, like California. All right? Peace out. This is Wisecraft.
Peace.
Signing out.